Chapter 704. Master, we've reached the periphery of Grand Culmination Starry Sky. Chasing Bull's voice arrived just in time. Ningqing didn't intend to exhaust all of his celestial essence to test this arrow. But since Chasing Bull mentioned the periphery of Grand Culmination Starry Sky, he decided to put this matter aside. Master, you are now mighty and brave, with unrivaled spiritual techniques. Even the Starry Sky Emperors would piss their pants in fear when they see Master. Can this little one not stay inside and just follow Master outside? Chasing Bull saw that Ningqing seemed to be in a good mood, and quickly followed behind him with a flattering tone. Ningqing knew that Chasing Bull's mouth deserved a beating, so it didn't get along with the exploding golden wasps. Moreover, there was more than one exploding golden wasp in the true spirit world, which meant that Chasing Bull probably did not have a good time inside. Now that Chasing Bull wanted to come out for a breath of fresh air, he also felt that it was nothing. Even if people knew that he was the wind-seeking heavenly bull, Chuan Xinluo would also know that he took away the starry sky wheel. What could Chuan Xinluo do to him? I can completely conceal my aura now. I'm sure no one will be able to tell that I'm a wind-seeking heavenly bull. What they saw was a bull. Chasing Bull, on seeing Ningqing's intention to loosen his mouth, spoke up with even more assurance. Ningqing gave an sound. In that case, you do not need to enter the ring. I'll help you set up a few more aura-concealing restrictions, and no one should be able to tell that you're a wind-seeking heavenly bull. Chasing Bull could now do more and more things, and Ningqing felt that it was even more useful than the exploding golden wasps. Therefore he decided to satisfy Chasing Bull's small request. Many thanks, Master. Chasing Bull quickly thanked him. Although Ningqing did not fear Chuan Xinluo, he still wanted to save himself some trouble. With his aura-concealing restriction and Chasing Bull's own aura-concealing restriction, unless the other party forcibly used their spiritual consciousness to investigate, they would never be able to see Chasing Bull's true body. If someone forcibly checked Chasing Bull, it would be considered a provocation. Since they were provoking him, don't blame him for making a move. Standing outside the eternal heaven starry sky city, Ningqing felt a myriad of emotions in his heart. After so many years, he returned to this place once again. When he first came here, he hid his identity and trembled with fear. But today he came back openly, followed by a triumphant Chasing Bull. Why do I feel that you are somewhat familiar? A female voice sounded out from Ningqing's side. The one who spoke was a beautiful middle-aged woman with an Empyrean realm cultivation base. Ningqing showed a faint smile. You're naturally familiar with me. When I was on the ship under the alias of Cheng Nianqiong, you even questioned me. In the past, he had almost been seen through by this beautiful woman. At that time, if he had been seen through by this beautiful woman, he would have been completely finished. It's you? The beautiful woman raised her eyebrows, as a powerful imposing aura immediately enveloped Ningqing. Ningqing didn't move at all. When the beautiful woman's powerful heaven-seated imposing aura fell on Ningqing, it instantly dissipated. The middle-aged woman's face changed. Apart from eternal realm powerhouses, who else could dissolve her imposing aura without moving? Could it be that this person was an eternal realm expert, and had hidden himself because of his injuries? Thinking of this, cold sweat suddenly oozed out of the middle-aged woman's forehead. Chasing Bull spoke up with disdain. Just a small one. At this point, Chasing Bull stopped and asked, Master, what is this woman's cultivation? Sky Realm. Ningqing knew that Chasing Bull was only a starry sky grade 6 demonic beast, and it couldn't see through this middle-aged woman's cultivation. Yes, a small heaven-seated woman dares to use her imposing aura against Master. Be careful, this Grandpa Bull will trample you to death. Chasing Bull deliberately took a step forward, raised its head, and stomped its hooves. It spoke with an even more disdainful tone. No wonder it felt proud of itself and followed behind Ningqing. It had countless medicinal pills and even more cultivation resources. With its wind-seeking heavenly bull's body, it might not take long to advance to Starry Sky Grade 7. At that time, this old bull would also be a heaven-seated powerhouse. Of course, other people in the heaven-seated realm were ants, but Chasing Bull was a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. Greetings, Senior. The middle-aged woman no longer had the same murderous aura as before. Instead, she bowed her head in fear. Ningqing asked in a calm voice. What did you want to investigate when you called me over on the ship? The middle-aged woman thought that Ningqing wanted to pursue the past, which made her feel even more anxious. This junior heard that a rootless green bamboo had appeared in that drifting starland. So you want to know if I took away the rootless green bamboo? Ningqing's tone turned stern. The middle-aged woman quickly spoke up. This junior doesn't dare. Please forgive me, senior. I can forgive you, but what other treasures appeared in that drifting starland? Ningqing just casually asked this question. He didn't want to do anything to this middle-aged woman. Although this middle-aged woman treated him fiercely, she didn't really hurt him. Ningqing only asked this question because he had obtained the rootless green bamboo in that drifting starland. He also wanted to know what other treasures appeared in that drifting starland apart from the rootless green bamboo. Would it be similar to the immortal jade star? There is also breath soil. The beautiful middle-aged woman's words had not yet finished when she was interrupted by Ningqing. What did you say? Breath soil? Breath soil also appeared in that drifting starland? Even Ningqing couldn't contain the excitement in his heart. He actually heard about breath soil, which was incredible. One had to know that if he wanted to completely refine his weapon, breath soil was an essential ingredient. Because of the preciousness of breath soil, he had even given up the idea of refining a long spear. He never expected to hear about breath soil today. Even if he didn't refine a long spear, breath soil was still very precious to him. No, Ningqing felt that something was wrong after asking this question. If there really was breath soil, this middle-aged woman wouldn't have spoken about it. Even if his imposing aura grew more oppressive, she wouldn't have spoken about it. Sure enough, this middle-aged woman immediately spoke up. Senior, please forgive me. This junior didn't speak clearly. It's a small piece of soil where breath soil was stored. That piece of soil once contained breath soil, which is why it has the aura of breath soil. Ningqing's reaction when he heard about breath soil was exactly the same as her reaction when she first heard about it. That's right, no cultivator could ignore the shocking value of breath soil. Despite Ningqing's eagerness, this middle-aged woman still said that she didn't speak clearly. Ningqing gave out a sigh. How could there be such a good thing in this world? How could he casually inquire about breath soil? Where is the piece of soil that stored breath soil now? Ningqing's tone returned to normal. He felt that his performance just now was a bit inappropriate. Even if there was breath soil in front of him, he could only think about it. Moreover, he couldn't act so eager just because this middle-aged woman's cultivation wasn't as good as his. Happy Wave Chamber of Commerce obtained that piece of breath soil, and we later bought it. We auctioned it off in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. The middle-aged woman spoke with a respectful tone. Who bought it? Ningqing asked with a calm tone, but with an unquestionable attitude. The middle-aged woman quickly replied, This junior doesn't know. Our things were auctioned off in the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. Ningqing knew about the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall, which was the largest merchant house in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. He had also done business with the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall and sold a time stone. I see. You can go. Ningqing nodded. Many thanks, senior. This junior will take her leave. The middle-aged woman suppressed the fear in her heart and retreated to the side. Ningqing didn't care about this middle-aged woman. When his cultivation was still low, he also felt the same fear and trepidation in front of this middle-aged woman. Walking into the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City with Chasing Bull, Ningqing once again felt the prosperity of this place. It had not changed at all since he came here in the past. No one felt surprised that Ningqing entered the Starry Sky City with a demonic ox companion beast. There were many cultivators who brought demonic beasts into the city, especially ox-type companion beasts. The Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City had restrictions everywhere, which made it impossible to sweep out with one's spiritual consciousness. Ningqing arrived at Celestial Immortal Street's Baiqi Artifact Crafting Store, and found that the original Baiqi Artifact Crafting Store was gone. At a glance, Ningqing understood that the new store was newly built. From the looks of it, the rumors that Zhongli Baiqi and a Starry Sky Emperor fought in the Baiqi Artifact Crafting Store and razed it to the ground were true. Ningqing then arrived at the store given to him by Chuan Xinluo. The store's door was tightly closed, and there was no sign of Baiqi artifact crafting store. Jian Jiao and junior apprentice Sister Yan were also not here. The restrictions and array formations in the store looked very low level, and had been arranged before he left. Ningqing opened the store's restrictions and found no one inside. Ningqing guessed that no one had lived in this store for more than a year, which meant that Jian Jiao had still been living here a year ago. "Excuse me, are you Ningqing?" A shop assistant from a nearby clothing store saw Ningqing open the store, and immediately came over to ask. "Yes, I'm Ningqing." Ningqing replied. The shop assistant quickly replied. Jian Jiao teamed up with someone else and went out. He said that if his senior apprentice brother Ningqing came back, he should let me bring a message. He will definitely come back within 2 years. If he doesn't come back within 2 years, then there is no need to wait for him. Do you know where senior apprentice Sister Yan went with Jian Jiao? Jian Jiao appeared to look for cultivation resources on his own, which made Ningqing feel a little emotional in his heart. If something happened to Jian Jiao, he would definitely feel a little guilty. After all, Song Wei had entrusted Jian Jiao to him. "I know, senior apprentice Sister Yan's master came and took her away." The shop assistant replied immediately. "Many thanks." Ningqing thanked the shop assistant and walked into the store. Sure enough, Zhongli Baiqi took away Xingyan, but ignored Jian Jiao. Ningqing had originally planned to hang the name Baiqi Artifact Crafting Store in this store. Since Zhongli Baiqi took away junior apprentice Sister Yan and ignored Jian Jiao, he no longer needed to hang the name. The master-disciple relationship between him and Zhongli Baiqi was completely temporary, and there was no formal apprenticeship ceremony. As for Zhongli Baiqi taking him in, most likely it was to let him participate in the artifact crafting competition. As for Zhou Zhentian, Ningqing guessed that he should not have arrived at Culmination Starland so soon. Even if Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting store was destroyed, Zhou Zhentian would definitely find its location. With his threat to Zhou Zhentian would definitely wait for him outside the original location of Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting store. Thinking of this, Ningqing rearranged the array formations and restrictions around the store, and simply named it Chengruolan Artifact Crafting Store. Chapter 705. Aunt Su, are you sure you didn't mistake him for someone else? Striking Order Heavenly Emperor suddenly stood up and looked at a middle-aged woman in front of him in amazement. This middle-aged woman was the female cultivator Ningqing had met before entering the city. However, at this time, she had already reported everything about Ningqing to Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. Aunt Su spoke up with even more certainty. "Heavenly Emperor, that cultivator admitted it himself. I secretly inquired about him, and found out that his name is Ningqing. After he entered the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, he went to an empty shop and named it Chengruolan Artifact Crafting Store. It turned out to be owned by a cultivator named Jian Jiao. Let me have a look at his image." Striking Order Heavenly Emperor frowned. If there really was such a powerhouse, what did he mean by hiding on the ship heading to Culmination Starland? Aunt Su raised her hand and projected Ningqing's image into the void. "It's him?" Striking Order Heavenly Emperor looked at Ningqing's image in confusion and shock. "Does Heavenly Emperor know this person?" Aunt Su asked carefully. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor pondered for a long time before speaking. "I've seen him once. He should be representing a celestial river in the Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. At the Tao Discussion Convention in Striking Order Starland's Lucky Heaven City, he seemed to be a celestial novice cultivator without a celestial wheel. How many years has it been since then? Even if his cultivation grew fast, he could never become an eternal level powerhouse." Although Ningqing was sitting in a corner, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor could easily form an impression with just a casual sweep of his spiritual consciousness. The image drawn by Aunt Su looked a bit more vicissitudes and a beard compared to before. However, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor could not be sure about it. But now that he saw the image, he managed to recall some of his vague memories. Wait. He seems to have participated in an artifact crafting competition. That's not right. Since he came from Striking Order Starland, how could he be Zhongli Baiqi's disciple? Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not care about a minor character like Ningqing. However, once he did, some of his memories would start to surface. Even if Ningcheng had changed his appearance, as long as there was even a hint of the same aura, he would immediately link it to him. Did he hide his cultivation at that time? Aunt Sue asked with uncertainty. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor shook his head. That shouldn't be the case. If he really was an expert, there would be no need for him to attend the Tao discussion conference. The only possibility was that he had truly advanced from the celestial novice realm to the eternal realm in just a few years. Of course, there is also the possibility that his celestial novice cultivation method was fake. For me to not be able to see through such a concealment cultivation method, it truly is not simple. Aunt Sue took in a deep breath and asked in confusion. Heavenly Emperor, even if he had a celestial gatherer cultivation at that time, he couldn't have advanced to the eternal realm in such a short time. Besides, even if he really advanced to the eternal realm, this speed would definitely cause his foundation to be unstable. How could he survive? If that's really the case, then this person must have some sort of treasure on him. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor then exhorted. Aunt Sue, don't speak about this matter. It would not do us any good. If we end up venting our anger on this person, we would have one more enemy. I'll take some time to visit him and find out more about him. After Ningcheng changed the name of the shop to Cheng Rulan Crafting, he did not really do any business. Apart from letting Chasing Bull look after the store, Ningcheng had been using the Scarlet Crow Flame to refine pills. Ningcheng's alchemy level was already on the verge of a breakthrough, and he could now easily refine grade 7 Starry Sky medicinal pills. However, Ningcheng did not intend to come out of seclusion. He intended to refine grade 8 Starry Sky medicinal pills before coming out. He now had a lot of spare time and a lot of spiritual grasses on him. Therefore, he naturally wanted to make good use of them. When Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came to visit, Ningcheng had already been in seclusion for more than half a month. Who are you looking for? Chasing Bull looked at Striking Order Heavenly Emperor from top to bottom before raising its head and asking without any hurry. Recently, it had been living in a reverie. Without those little bees buzzing around, it could even enjoy the bustling scene of the eternal heaven Starry Sky City. What could be more comfortable than this? A grade 6 Starry Sky demonic beast dared to speak to him in such a manner, causing Striking Order Heavenly Emperor to feel a little annoyed. But thinking about the eternal level powerhouse behind Chasing Bull, he could only suppress his anger and speak up. Is Dao friend Ningcheng here? I'm an old friend of his, and I came to visit. Chasing Bull flicked its tail. Come back in a month. Master said that this seclusion would last at least a month and a half. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor gave a cold snort. He was an eternal level Starry Sky Emperor, who controlled a starry sky. Even if this place was the eternal heaven Starry Sky City, he couldn't stand such an attitude. However, when his spiritual consciousness swept through the array formation upstairs, his anger disappeared in an instant. The array formations here were all grade 7 Starry Sky arrays, which not only included defensive arrays but also killing arrays. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor was an eternal level powerhouse, but even he couldn't arrange a Starry Sky array. The level of one's Tao confirming realm had nothing to do with one's cultivation. The Tao of array formations required countless hours of verification and deduction. Regardless of whether this Ningcheng was a Starry Sky Emperor or not, Ningcheng's Tao confirming realm level had already shocked him. What else do you want? Seeing Striking Order Heavenly Emperor not leaving, Chasing Bull spoke up with some dissatisfaction. This fellow had never seen the world before, and its first master was also a fellow with low cultivation. But now that Ningcheng's cultivation had risen, Chasing Bull didn't even put Striking Order Heavenly Emperor in his eyes. It truly felt like a dog fight. No, it should be a bull fighting with its master's power. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor suppressed his dissatisfaction and spoke up. It's like this. A month from now, Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain will host a spirit fruit banquet. I have 3 invitations, and because I'm an old friend of Dao friend Ning, I specially sent one over. If Ningcheng truly came from Striking Order Starland, then Striking Order Heavenly Emperor definitely wanted to win him over. The more eternal cultivators a Starry Sky had, the more powerful that Starry Sky would become. He had indeed received 3 invitations and had even sent one to Tangitong. This time, he came to see Ningcheng to see how strong Ningcheng was. If Ningcheng was worth winning over, then he would send one to Ningcheng to build a friendship. Although he didn't see Ningcheng, he saw the array formations arranged by Ningcheng. Even if Ningcheng's cultivation wasn't in the eternal realm, such a powerful array formation grandmaster was worth winning over. In any place, there weren't many array emperors who could arrange grade 7 starry sky arrays. When Chasing Bull heard about the spirit fruit banquet, its tone immediately turned polite. Master will definitely attend the spirit fruit banquet. You can leave the invitation with me, and I'll leave it with Master. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor didn't want to waste time with this stupid bull, and sent out an invitation. In that case, I'll wait for Brother Ning at Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. Ningcheng didn't stay for a month before coming out of seclusion. He had successfully refined grade 8 starry sky pills. After advancing to grade 8 starry sky pill emperor, Ningcheng didn't go into seclusion. Firstly, his flame couldn't refine grade 9 starry sky medicinal pills. Secondly, he didn't have many top-grade starry sky spiritual grasses. Master, a person named Striking Order came to see you. I said that you were in seclusion. But he left an invitation saying that the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain is hosting a spirit fruit banquet, and invited you to attend. Chasing Bull happily took out the invitation. It looked forward to Ningcheng taking it to the spirit fruit banquet. Ningcheng didn't expect that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would still be in Culmination Starland. Therefore, he didn't find it strange that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came looking for him. Since Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came here, he must have gotten the news from that middle-aged woman. Ningcheng looked at the date on the invitation, and saw that there were only 2 days left. Putting away the invitation, Ningcheng didn't plan to go to Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. He didn't have any friendship with Chuan Xinluo. Moreover, Chuan Xinluo didn't personally deliver this invitation. Therefore, it didn't matter if he went or not. I'm going to the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. You can wait for me here. Ningcheng gave Chasing Bull a few words before leaving the artifact crafting store. Chasing Bull felt a little unhappy that Ningcheng went out alone without it. But since its master told it to stay here, it didn't dare to bargain. In case its master felt unhappy and threw it into his storage ring, it would definitely become depressing. This time, Ningcheng didn't change his appearance, and entered the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall with his original appearance. As soon as he entered the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall, Ningcheng deliberately revealed his powerful cultivation aura. The cultivator in charge of the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall immediately knew that a powerhouse had arrived and quickly came out to greet a heaven-seated cultivator. May I ask how my Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall can help this Dao friend? The heaven-seated cultivator spoke with a respectful tone towards Ningcheng, but didn't address Ningcheng as senior. Ningcheng gave an in-sound and asked with an enigmatic look. I heard that a few years ago, the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall auctioned off a piece of soil containing breath soil. Who bought this soil? The heaven-seated cultivator spoke with a more polite tone. Everyone who comes to my Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall is a guest. My merchant hall does not disclose the information of our guests. Ningcheng guessed that this was the result, but he still felt unwilling in his heart. He stood up and deliberately used his imposing aura to suppress the cultivator. The heaven-seated cultivator immediately felt suffocated by Ningcheng's imposing aura, and his expression immediately changed. He had thought that Ningcheng was at most in the life and death realm. Although a life and death realm cultivator was amazing, he couldn't do anything to the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall. But now, Ningcheng's imposing aura clearly showed that he was an eternal level expert. If he encountered an unreasonable eternal level expert, even if the Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall had nothing to fear, it would still be troublesome. The heaven-seated cultivator quickly stood up and spoke with a respectful tone. Senior, my Eternal Heaven Merchant Hall has stood tall in the grand culmination starry skies for countless years, relying on its reputation. I hope that Senior can forgive us. Ningcheng felt a little helpless in his heart. Since the other party didn't want to talk about it, he couldn't really oppress them without reason. The heaven-seated cultivator on seeing Ningcheng's unsightly expression added, There are still 2 days before the Starry Sky Spirit Fruit Banquet hosted by Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor at the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. If Senior wants to ask about this matter, you can go to this place and ask about it. Ning Cheng's powerful imposing aura caused the cultivator to change the way he addressed him, from Dao friend to Senior. Many thanks. Ning Cheng nodded. He understood that this cultivator had indirectly told him that the person who bought the soil-containing breath soil would also attend the banquet. The heaven-seated cultivator watched Ning Cheng leave and felt even more confused. This eternal level expert seemed to have a bad temper, so why did he leave after saying a few words? Chapter 706. Master, this place is really beautiful. Chasing Bull looked at the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain in the distance and said, "It's indeed beautiful." Ning Cheng also praised. This was also his first time coming to the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. This place could only be described as a real fairyland. The green mountains and pavilions stretched out in all directions. The dense celestial essence even formed a mist that lingered around the mountains. Colorful clouds and all kinds of beautiful rare birds filled the air, making it hard to believe that this was still the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. In fact, the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain truly was located in the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City. However, the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City was divided into 2 parts. One was the Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, and the other was the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. The 2 places were clearly separated by restrictions. Normally, when the restrictions were closed, no one could approach the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. In fact, even if the restrictions were opened, ordinary people would not be able to come in. The invitation that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor left for Ning Cheng was an opening array flag to enter the restrictions. According to the invitation, each invitation allowed 1 person to enter, which meant that Ning Cheng could bring Chasing Bull with him. Ning Cheng took the invitation and was about to enter the Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's restrictions when his spiritual consciousness saw Striking Order Heavenly Emperor and the middle-aged woman coming over. Therefore he stopped. The invitation came from Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. Since Striking Order had visited him before, he naturally had to greet him. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor also saw Ning Cheng waiting and immediately quickened his pace. Before he even reached Ning Cheng, he laughed from afar. "Dao friend Ning, I was worried that you were still in seclusion. I didn't expect to meet you here. It's truly a blessing." "Greetings, Senior Ning." The middle-aged woman called Aunt Sue quickly came forward to greet him. Ning Cheng also cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, Heavenly Emperor, for coming to my small place." Ning Cheng really didn't know where Heavenly Emperor lived. "Otherwise, I would have come to thank you." "Dao friend Ning, you might as well call me Striking Order and call me Heavenly Emperor. You and I both come from Striking Order Starry Sky, so we're all on the same side. It's also my fault for not inviting Dao friend Ning to my immortal cave in Lucky Heaven City. This time, when I learned that Dao friend Ning came to Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City, I immediately went to visit you. Unfortunately, you were in seclusion when I arrived. Otherwise, I could have talked to you a few days earlier." Striking Order Heavenly Emperor spoke with an extremely polite smile. Ning Cheng's cultivation was vague to him, which meant that Aunt Sue wasn't talking nonsense. Ning Cheng most likely was an eternal level powerhouse. Speaking about the matter of Lucky Heaven City was naturally to probe Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng knew that Striking Order wanted to win him over and simply spoke up. "Since Brother Striking Order says so, then I won't be polite. Last time, this stupid bull of mine didn't neglect Brother Striking Order. At that time, I asked it why it didn't call me out." Ning Cheng naturally spoke out of politeness. If Chasing Bull really called him out of seclusion for such a thing, then it would truly be a stupid bull, and he would definitely teach it a lesson. As for Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's probing, he pretended not to hear it. No, Brother Ning, please. This time, at the invitation of Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, many powerhouses have come. I heard that Grand Spirit Heaven Starry Sky's 9 Phoenix Palaces, Yi Jiufeng, will also come. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor stretched out his hand and spoke with a warm tone. He wanted to ask about Ning Cheng's origins, but since Ning Cheng didn't want to talk about it, he couldn't continue asking. The few of them had just entered the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's restrictions when a welcoming boy came over and led the Ningqing trio into the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's guest hall. Many cultivators had already arrived at the guest hall. Ningqing glanced around and found that most of the people here were powerhouses in the life and death realm or above. However, most of them brought 1 or 2 followers with them. Moreover, these followers all had low cultivation. Presumably, they came out with their elders to see the world. Ningqing didn't see anyone like him, who directly brought a bull with him. As soon as Striking Order Heavenly Emperor came in, a familiar cultivator greeted him from a distance. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor apologized to Ningqing and took the initiative to greet the cultivators. As for Ningqing, everyone thought that he was a junior of Striking Order Heavenly Emperor and didn't care about him. If one had 2 invitations, it would be normal for him to bring 3 followers. Ningqing reached out and patted Chasing Bull's head. You can go into the ring. No one brought a companion beast here. It would be a bit awkward if you came alone. Master, don't you see that person with a 1-horned thunder leopard? He's even riding on the thunder leopard. Chasing Bull really didn't want to stay inside the ring. Moreover, the spirit fruit banquet hadn't even started yet, and there were already all kinds of wines to drink. What was the point of going into the ring and spending time with those little bees? When Chasing Bull spoke, Ningqing also saw a white-haired eternal level cultivator riding a 1-horned thunder leopard. Moreover, this white-haired cultivator was a late-stage eternal expert, much stronger compared to Ningqing. In that case, don't talk nonsense and just stay here. Ningqing still didn't feel reassured. Hey, junior apprentice brother Ning, why are you here? A familiar voice came over, and Ningqing immediately saw Tang Yu rushing over. Ningqing didn't feel surprised that Tang Yu could come over. Her father, Tang Yitong, was an eternal level expert in Striking Order Starry Sky, so it wasn't surprising for him to get an invitation. I'm just basking in the limelight. It's been a long time since I last saw you. Your cultivation seems to have improved a lot. Ningqing said with a smile. Tang Yu's cultivation had indeed improved a lot, and she had already reached the undead realm. Presumably, it wouldn't take too long for her to advance to the Heaven's Mandate realm. Tang Yu's father was an eternal level expert, so Tang Yu naturally didn't have to worry about cultivation resources. Your cultivation should have also improved a lot. By the way, you haven't told me yet. How did you come here? Tang Yu felt puzzled about this question. Her father was an eternal level expert, so it made sense for him to bring her here. She knew that Ningqing was just a small cultivator without any backing. Therefore, it felt strange for him to come here. Junior apprentice Sister Yu, who is this? Another voice came over, interrupting Tang Yu's question. Tang Yu quickly replied, Senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu, this is junior apprentice brother Ningqing. He came from Striking Order Starland with me. We haven't seen each other for a long time, and I didn't expect to meet him at the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. After that, Tang Yu introduced him to Ningqing. Junior apprentice brother Ning, this is senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu from the Spiritual Heaven sect. No one can match his qualifications. Xiao Yu showed a smile and was about to say a few polite words when Ningqing suddenly recalled this Xiao Yu and immediately spoke up. I remember now, you are the first in the Celestial Scryer Tower. Ningqing's words stopped. Xiao Yu's ranking should have been refreshed by him by now, but he had never taken his ranking seriously. Therefore, he didn't care about it. Moreover, it felt a bit inappropriate to say that this fellow was the first. However, this fellow looked really handsome and definitely a handsome man. Moreover, this fellow's qualifications were also not bad. Ningqing had heard from Zish Jun that Xiao Yu had forcibly lowered his cultivation to the Celestial Gatherer realm to enter the Immortal Jade Star. Ningqing didn't expect that when he saw this fellow again, this fellow would already be at the late-stage Heaven's Mandate realm. Sure enough, Xiao Yu's face sank. He felt that Ningqing was deliberately ridiculing him, but Ningqing's tone did not seem to be the case. Tang Yu also felt that Ningqing's words were a bit inappropriate and quickly spoke up with a smile. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Yu later advanced to the Celestial Bridge realm. Naturally, he would not leave his name on the Celestial Scryer Tower's array formation display. The current first in the Celestial Scryer Tower is a cultivator called Jiangzhou's Wanderer, Because he entered the 81st floor, his name has always been on it. Junior apprentice Brother Ning, this bull of yours looks very well behaved. Tang Yu's last sentence was meant to change the topic, but it was a bit obvious. Hee hee, you didn't expect to meet me here, haha. A hee hee voice rang out, followed by a burst of laughter. A pale-faced cultivator appeared in front of Ning Cheng in a flash. Senior Gua. Tang Yu and Xiao Yuan, seeing this pale-faced cultivator, both bowed in unison. Ning Cheng sneered in his heart. He had planned to settle accounts with this pale-faced fellow, but this fellow actually took the initiative to come to him. When he was cultivating on that hidden planet, someone had discovered the mysterious yellow aura and wanted to snatch his mysterious yellow bead. That person was this pale-faced cultivator in front of him. At that time, as long as he was 1 or 2 breaths late, this fellow would have succeeded. For Ning Cheng, it was a narrow escape from death. Once this fellow succeeded, how could he still be alive at that time? Ning Cheng had thought that this fellow was something extraordinary, but now it seems that he only had the same cultivation as Striking Order Starry Sky Emperor. In fact, he was even a little weaker than Striking Order, at most at the middle stage of the Eternal Realm. Junior apprentice Brother Ning, this is the Dock Master of the Endless Void Dock, Senior 3 Heavenly Emperor Gua. Hurry up and greet him. Seeing Ning Cheng not moving, Tang Yu felt anxious. The pale-faced man waved his hand. No need for greeting. Just tell me your name and who did you come with? He believed that as a Starry Sky Emperor, if he wanted to take this little cultivator back, no Starry Sky Emperor would come out to stop him. This time he had to offend a Starry Sky Emperor, or even several Starry Sky Emperors, to take Ning Cheng away. No matter how high the price was, he was willing to pay. I came here with Striking Order Heavenly Emperor. What's wrong? Do you feel uncomfortable? Ning Cheng spoke with a calm voice. Tang Yu's heart sank, and she quickly stepped back. She took a few steps towards Tang Yitong and spoke up anxiously. Dad, please help that junior apprentice Brother Ning Cheng. He offended Heavenly Emperor 3 Heaven. What? Tang Yitong, who was talking to another Eternal Starry Sky Emperor, suddenly had a change in expression. He quickly pulled Tang Yu behind him. Tang Yu, I told you these are not ordinary people. You're not allowed to run around. As for Tang Yu's words about saving Ning Cheng, he directly ignored it. He didn't care about junior apprentice Brother Ning Cheng. Offending Heavenly Emperor 3 Heavenly Emperor was equivalent to courting death. He wasn't stupid enough to go against Heavenly Emperor 3 Heavenly Emperor. Even if he tried to ask for a favor, he wouldn't do it. Not to mention him. Even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not dare to offend Heavenly Emperor 3 Heavenly Emperor, who didn't know that the Endless Void Dock's Dock Master, Heavenly Emperor 3 Heavenly Emperor, was a ruthless person. Because the Endless Void Dock was located in Culmination Starland, Heavenly Emperor 3 Heavenly Emperor had a good relationship with many Eternal Starry Sky Emperors. As eternal cultivators who came from afar to the starry sky, if they came here looking for trouble, it would only bring them trouble. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor noticed the situation and took the initiative to come over. Chapter 707. Without waiting for Striking Order Heavenly Emperor to speak, Gua Sangon cupped his fists and spoke. Brother Striking Order, the disciple you brought today offended me and stole some of my things from the Endless Void Docks. I will not let today's matter go like this. I will definitely bring him back to the Endless Void Dock to be identified. If I have offended you, I am willing to pay you a visit and apologize. When Gua Sangon said this, the surrounding people were stunned. These words clearly hinted at Striking Order not to plead for leniency. Even if Striking Order did plead for leniency, Gua Sangon would not let it go. From the looks of it, this disciple brought by Striking Order Heavenly Emperor really did something big and angered the ruthless Gua Sangon. Everyone looked at Striking Order. Those who could be brought here by Striking Order were naturally people close to him. Now that Gua Sangon wanted to take away Striking Order Heavenly Emperor's disciple, whether Striking Order Heavenly Emperor would allow it or not, it would depend on whether the relationship between Striking Order and this disciple reached a certain degree. If Striking Order Heavenly Emperor did not allow Gua Sangon to take it away, then with Gua Sangon's words, a fight would definitely break out. Striking Order Heavenly Emperor frowned. He wanted to make friends with Ning Cheng, but before he could make friends with Ning Cheng, he had to provoke Guasangan. No matter how he looked at it, this was something he didn't want. He knew too well what kind of person Guasangan was. An extremely ruthless fellow. His actions were incomparably bloody. Just a single Guasangan made Striking Order unable to look down on him. What's more, the strength of the Endless Void Docks ranked at the top of Culmination Starland. Even Chuan Xinluo did not dare to underestimate it. However, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor didn't want to say that he didn't care about it. If that was the case, he would have already offended Ning Cheng. If he tried to make friends with Ning Cheng, it would be like looking at flowers through a fog. Just as he was pacing back and forth, another 3 people walked in. Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart personally accompanied 2 people, a man and a woman. Everyone looks so lively. I went to pick up 9 Phoenix Heavenly Emperor and Dao Friend Song, so I came a little late. Chuan Xinluo came over with a smile, which eased the tense atmosphere a lot. For Chuan Xinluo to personally greet him, it naturally meant that he was not someone to be underestimated. Therefore, everyone came up together to greet him. Chuan Xinluo was the master of Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain, while 9 Phoenix Heavenly Emperor was the premier person of Grand Spirit Heaven Starry Sky. But as for the cultivator addressed as Dao Friend Song, Ningcheng had never heard of him, but he had seen this person before. Brother Leveled Heart, I'm really sorry about today. It's because I met a minor cultivator who stole something from my Endless Void Docks, and I wanted to take him away. This little cultivator was brought here by Brother Striking Order. Even if I go to Striking Order Starland afterwards to apologize, I will still take this little cultivator to the Endless Void Docks to identify him. Guasangan's words laid the foundation for what he wanted to do. He believed that with his friendship with Chuan Xinluo and the strength of the Endless Void Docks, Chuan Xinluo would not obstruct him. Not to mention him, even the cultivators around him, including Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, felt the same way. Sure enough, Chuan Xinluo spoke up with a straight face. As a Starry Sky cultivator, character is the most important thing. I believe that Brother Striking Order will understand. Furthermore, I believe that Brother Guo wouldn't hurt a junior over such a small matter. Chuan Xinluo's words did not offend Striking Order Heavenly Emperor, nor did he offend Sangan. He spoke for both sides. However, one thing was certain, that Ningcheng would definitely be taken away. He didn't even ask who Guasangan was talking about. Guasangan felt happy in his heart. He only needed to take away Ningcheng. In the end, whether to kill Ningcheng or not, it all depended on him. Ningcheng didn't care about Guasangan and Chuan Xinluo's words at all. Instead, his gaze fell on Yi Jiufeng. Yi Jiufeng had the aura of the Wind Thunder Apricot on her. Moreover, he had obtained 2 Wind Thunder Apricots, which made him very sensitive to this aura. If the Wind Thunder Apricot was on Yi Jiufeng, could he trade with this woman? The cultivator surnamed Song, who stood next to Yi Jiufeng and Chuan Xinluo, saw Ningcheng's gaze sweep over and immediately lowered his head. He even wanted to take a few steps back. Ningcheng, however, showed a smile and spoke up. Friend, I haven't seen you for a few days, yet you don't recognize me? The cultivator surnamed Song's face suddenly turned a little pale. He knew that this person had already recognized him when he watched this young powerhouse's Thunder Tribulation. At that time, this person had chased after him for a while, but just when he was about to catch up, he suddenly stopped and let him go. Now the person he feared the most was this terrifying fellow, but he never expected to see him again. When he thought of Ningcheng's terrifying and crazy tribulation, he immediately felt a burst of fear in his heart. That kind of thunder tribulation, even from thousands of miles away, he could feel a burst of crazy killing intent. He felt sure that if he tried to surmount this tribulation, he would die before he could even get past the first wave. He naturally didn't know that Ningcheng's thoughts were on Yi Jiufeng, and thought that Ningcheng wanted to vent his anger on him. With Ningcheng's power and influence, once he became dissatisfied with him, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. One had to know that peeking at others' tribulations was a taboo. Junior Song Saiha greets Senior. This junior unintentionally. Song Saiha no longer dared to step back. He quickly took a step forward and spoke with a bow. Senior, The moment Song Saiha called out Senior, Ningcheng, the entire hall turned silent. Who was Song Saiha? A late-stage eternal powerhouse. If he were just a late-stage eternal cultivator, it wouldn't be worth Chuan Xinlo greeting him personally. More importantly, Song Saiha was one of the 3 rogue cultivator heavenly emperors in this part of the universe. He was the most powerful Starry Sky Pill Emperor, a powerhouse who could refine grade 9 Starry Sky medicinal pills. One could say that Song Saiha's cultivation in the Tao of Alchemy was unmatched. In any place, as long as Song Saiha stood up and greeted him, people would immediately respond. Such a powerhouse actually addressed Ningcheng as senior. Chuan Xinlo froze. He finally felt that Ningcheng looked familiar. Guasangon froze. Yi Jiufeng, Tang Yitang, and everyone else also froze. Song Saiha's joke wasn't funny at all. Even Striking Order Heavenly Emperor froze. He knew that Ningcheng was strong, but not strong enough for Song Saiha to call him senior. What the hell was going on? Seeing Chuan Xinlo about to speak, Ningcheng showed a smile. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, when I helped Baichi Artifact Crafting Store participate in the artifact crafting competition, you gave me a store. Sure enough, it's you. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor took in a deep breath. He recognized Ningcheng. When Guasangon heard Song Saiha call Ningcheng senior, he found that things were completely out of his control. Song Saiha wasn't someone he could easily bully. It was already a good thing that this person didn't bully him. Yet such a person called Ningcheng senior and wanted to take Ningcheng away. What the hell was going on? Ningcheng saw that Song Saiha still wanted to speak, so he waved his hand and said, Dao friend Song, I just wanted to say hello to you. I don't mean to blame you. After saying that, Ningcheng nodded to Yi Jiufeng. He was ready to look for Yi Jiufeng to carry out the transaction. It was necessary for him to familiarize himself with the other party. Although Ningcheng wanted to fight with Guasangon, he knew that this was not the place for a fight. Moreover, if Guasangon didn't take the initiative, he couldn't take the initiative. He cupped his fists and said, Everyone, I'm Ningcheng from Striking Order Starry Sky. Endless Void Docs Guasangon came looking for trouble with me just now. I believe that all the heavenly emperors present here have seen it clearly. To be honest, I don't blame Guasangon. Even if he didn't come looking for trouble with me, I wouldn't have come looking for trouble with him. Endless Void Doc? Is it famous? I haven't been there before, but I want to go and see it now. Guasangon's expressions turned a little ugly. He still didn't know Ningcheng's details. Before, he didn't put Ningcheng in his eyes. But after Song Saiha addressed Ningcheng as senior, he found that his spiritual consciousness couldn't see through Ningcheng's cultivation at all. Ningcheng didn't intend to hide this matter at all. Instead, he spoke up in a clear voice. The grudge between me and Guasangon was because this kid wanted a piece of my stone. I obtained a mysterious yellow origin stone. As soon as Ningcheng's words came out, the entire hall sucked in a breath of cold air. Mysterious yellow origin stone. Just how precious was it? The words mysterious yellow origin stone were enough to move any heavenly emperor's heart. It was a treasure that originated from heaven and earth. If the conflict between Guasangon and Ningcheng was caused by the mysterious yellow origin stone, then it would be understandable. When I used the mysterious yellow origin to comprehend a lore-related spirit technique, this fellow sneak attacked me. At that time, I was in a weakened state, and this bastard almost succeeded in his sneak attack. Everyone, if I don't go to the Endless Void Docks to repay this favor, then how would I be able to live up to the Sangan's kind invitation? As Ningcheng spoke, his tone turned even more awe-inspiring, with a hint of killing intent. Guasangon couldn't help but shudder. He even started to suspect that Ningcheng really did obtain a mysterious yellow origin stone. Song Saiha looked at Guasangon with a sympathetic expression. His eyes even regarded Guasangon as a dead man. Guasangon was just about to lose his temper, but when he saw Song Saiha's sympathetic eyes, he didn't have the courage to act up. Did he almost capture Ningcheng because Ningcheng was in a weakened state, and not because his cultivation was weak? Tang Yitang, who didn't want to intervene, also froze at this moment. He could only whisper to Tang Yu, Little Yu, who is he? Is he really the junior apprentice brother Ning you mentioned? Tang Yu acted as if she hadn't heard Tang Yitang's question, and still looked at Ningcheng in shock. Ningcheng clearly had a celestial novice cultivation. So how come only a few years had passed? How did he become Heavenly Emperor Tsaiha's senior? Striking Order Heavenly Emperor felt very comfortable and laughed, breaking the temporary silence and embarrassment. With a happy voice he spoke to Ningcheng. Brother Ning, leveled heart Heavenly Emperor, after this Spirit Fruit Invitation Convention, I plan to return to Striking Order Starland. If Brother Ning has time in the future, you must come to Lucky Heaven City as a guest. Ningcheng smiled. Naturally, I'm waiting for my martial nephew here. When he comes back, I will first go to the 9-plate Starland's everlasting sacred shrine. After that, I will definitely go to Lucky Heaven City to visit Brother Striking Order. Is Dao Friend Ning also familiar with Junior Apprentice Sister Seeking Hui? That's just right. Last time, when Junior Apprentice Sister Seeking Hui advanced to the Starry Sky Emperor realm, I couldn't go because of some matters. Dao Friend Ning, please help me convey my apologies. Chuan Xinluo's expression changed very quickly. He could only vaguely see that Ningcheng's imposing aura was no worse than his own. Coupled with Song Tsaiha and Striking Order's respect for Ningcheng, how could he not understand Ningcheng's extraordinary strength? Chapter 708. I went to the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's new Sacred Lady ceremony a few years ago at the invitation of Dao Friend Seeking Wisdom. Dao Friend Seeking Wisdom's Dao laws are getting more and more exquisite. Another dark-faced Eternal Starry Sky Emperor spoke up with a smile. This dark-faced Eternal Starry Sky Emperor apparently took the initiative to talk to Ningcheng. Regardless of Ningcheng's strength, Song Tsaiha's respect for him, coupled with Striking Order's politeness and Chuan Xinluo's initiative to talk to him, it was worth getting to know Ningcheng. Ningcheng frowned and asked in doubt, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's new Sacred Lady? He felt relieved that Luofei and Qianghua were an Everlasting Sacred Shrine. After all, Everlasting Sacred Shrine had the Everlasting Sacred Tree, and it would be better for Qianghua to stay under the Everlasting Sacred Tree. Even if he came back this time, he couldn't take Qianghua away, because he couldn't find the Purple Yin Spirit Spring. Another factor that made Ningcheng feel relieved was not seeking wisdom, but Everlasting Sacred Shrine's seeking caution. Ningcheng was confident that he had not misjudged her. Seeking caution would never break her promise to keep Luofei and Qianghua safe. Moreover, Seeking Caution had personally promised to let Qianghua recover under the Everlasting Sacred Tree, which was a tacit agreement between the two. Logically speaking, Qianghua should still be Everlasting Sacred Emperor's Sacred Lady. So why did she become a new Sacred Lady? Bright Heaven Starry Skies Wuhong greets Dao Friend Ning. The dark-faced cultivator cupped his fists towards Ningcheng. Everlasting Sacred Shrine's original Sacred Lady has fallen, so they had to appoint a new Sacred Lady. Wu Hong interjected with the purpose of getting to know Ningcheng, so he naturally would not miss the opportunity to introduce himself. Ningcheng's face turned pale in an instant, and a sharp aura rushed out from him. Even the few eternal-level experts standing near him felt an oppressive chill. The surrounding cultivators completely believed Song Tsaiha's words this time. Ningcheng's cultivation was definitely powerful, and maybe he really was a senior. Brother Wu, did you just say that Everlasting Sacred Shrine's original Sacred Lady has fallen? Ningcheng's words trembled in disbelief. Wu Hong was slightly startled, but he immediately understood that Ningcheng had a relationship with the original Sacred Lady. He quickly replied, That's right. I heard that the Sacred Lady named Qianghua had fallen, so a new Sacred Lady was appointed. He had only heard about it from others. As an eternal powerhouse, he naturally wouldn't ask about the life and death of a Sacred Lady. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, Ningcheng will visit again next time. While speaking, Ningcheng grabbed Chasing Bull and disappeared from the hall in a flash. Humph, a rude person, so arrogant, I want to see. Gua Sangon, on seeing Ningcheng walk away, gave a cold snort and began to draw hatred for Ningcheng. However, before he could finish his sentence, an incomparably huge golden seal descended. There seemed to be a ferocious bird on top of the seal. This bird stood on top of the seal, adding a majestic and ferocious aura to the golden seal. The violent aura swept over the entire hall and blasted toward Guasangon. In the face of this violent and oppressive aura, the surrounding cultivators all retreated. Guasangon quickly shut his mouth and hastily took out his golden dipper of flames. 2 beams of golden light exploded together. Ningcheng, who had been accumulating power for a long time, blasted Guasangon away and sent him crashing into 2 eternal cultivators. If not for the 2 eternal cultivators stopping him, he would have directly smashed into the wall of the hall. Even his golden dipper of flames flew to the side, and the golden light shrouding it turned dim. After the golden seal with the bird blasted Guasangon away, it did not follow up with another attack. Instead, it disappeared from the hall. At this time, Ningcheng's voice arrived. Guasangon, remember to keep your head safe. I will visit the endless void docks. Guasangon's white face turned red, but he could no longer speak a single word with any imposing aura. One move, just one move, yet Ningcheng had blasted Guasangon away. The entire hall fell silent once again. Although Ningcheng had hidden his weapon in the hall, and Guasangon had only blasted him away in a hurry, everyone could see that Ningcheng was stronger than Guasangon. As for whether it was slightly stronger or a lot stronger, that was because the 2 of them had only exchanged one move. No one was able to tell. But Ningcheng had hidden his weapon in the hall, and no one could see through it, which meant that Ningcheng was quite amazing. Anyone who could appear in this hall, apart from the juniors, was definitely not a weakling. He seems to have used an imperial jade seal with the power of hope. After a long time, an eternal starry sky emperor spoke up. This eternal starry sky emperor's words caused another round of silence. Using a weapon powered by the power of hope to directly blast Guasangon away, how much power of Joss flames would it take? How could ordinary cultivators obtain Joss flames? Ningcheng truly felt anxious this time. He felt that Qianghua would be safe in everlasting sacred shrine, which was why he left with peace of mind. Plus, everlasting sacred shrine had the everlasting sacred tree. Even if he went to everlasting sacred shrine, he wouldn't be able to take away Qianghua. Never did he expect that even though he thought he was 100% safe, he would receive news of Qianghua's death in leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. This news was like a bolt from the blue, which made him wish he could fly to everlasting sacred shrine. Everlasting sacred shrine didn't only have Qianghua, Luofei was also there. If something happened to Qianghua, what would happen to Luofei? Ningcheng gave Chasing Bull control of the Starry Sky Wheel, and even gave some permanent essence pills to Chasing Bull. The purpose was to let Chasing Bull burn the permanent essence pills to speed up the Starry Sky Wheel. As for himself, he continued to refine the Imperial Jade Seal. This Imperial Jade Seal contained the power of hope, and had helped him several times. If Qianghua's death really had something to do with Everlasting Sacred Shrine, he would definitely fight with Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Moreover, the Imperial Jade Seal would help him a lot. A month later, when Ningcheng refined the Imperial Jade Seal to the 76th layer of restrictions, Chasing Bull told him that they had arrived at 9-Plate Starland. Everlasting Sacred Shrine wasn't a small sect in 9 Jewels Starry Sky, nor was it a top-grade sect. However, since Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Sacred Master Seeking Intelligence advanced to the Eternal Realm, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's status had risen along with the tide, and was now close to becoming a top-grade sect. A place with an Eternal Realm cultivator, even a Starry Sky Emperor would want to rope it in. What's more, Everlasting Sacred Shrine's Sacred Master Seeking Intelligence had a close relationship with Grand Culmination Starry Sky's leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, which further elevated Everlasting Sacred Shrine's status. This broken place is far worse than leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. Chasing Bull looked at Everlasting Sacred Shrine's entrance and spoke with disdain. In fact, Everlasting Sacred Shrine wasn't a broken place. On the contrary, it was one of the 10 places with the densest celestial essence aura in the entire 9-Plate Starland. Several suspended celestial rivers stretched across the mountains, adding to the endless fairyland atmosphere to Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Wait for me here. Ningcheng gave a few instructions to Chasing Bull before flying towards Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array. He had asked Chasing Bull to wait for him outside Everlasting Sacred Shrine just in case. After all, He hadn't reached the Eternal Realm yet. Therefore, if he got besieged by Eternal Realm cultivators in this place, he would have to find a way out. Stop! This is Everlasting Sacred Shrine's headquarters. You are not allowed to go any further. Ningcheng had just arrived in front of Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array, when a female cultivator from Everlasting Sacred Shrine stopped him. Ningcheng suppressed the anxiety in his heart and spoke with a deep voice. I'm looking for Ji Luofei. In any case, he had to see Ji Luofei first. Ningcheng didn't know if Qionghua's death had anything to do with Everlasting Sacred Shrine. Humph, a shameless person who had an affair with a man. Sacred Master had already sentenced her to death. How dare you ask about such a dirty name in our sacred shrine? Get out of here, otherwise. The female cultivator hadn't finished her words when a big foot kicked her in the chest. The next moment, she flew up and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood in the air. Ningcheng kicked the cultivator in anger before bringing out a Dao artifact long spear and slamming it into the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array formation. If Ji Luofei and Shi Qianghua were truly killed by seeking intelligence, as this female cultivator said, then he would wash the Everlasting Sacred Shrine with blood today. Boom! With just a single spear strike, the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array trembled. Ningcheng himself was an array emperor, who could arrange grade 7 starry sky array formations. Therefore, attacking a grade 8 starry sky mountain protecting Grand Array with full force like this would definitely result in amazing power. With the second spear strike, the entire mountain protecting Grand Array trembled even more. Stop! How dare you attack my Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array? A crisp voice came from behind Ningcheng, followed by a sword light shooting towards Ningcheng. Ningcheng ignored the sword light and punched out with a backhand. The long spear in his hand continuously slammed into the mountain protecting Grand Array. Under Ningcheng's continuous attacks, the mountain protecting Grand Array finally gave out a kacha sound. Before the sword light could reach Ningcheng, Ningcheng's celestial river domain dissolved it. As for the female cultivator who attacked Ningcheng, under Ningcheng's punch, even the sound behind her disappeared. Stop! Another angry roar erupted, and the mountain protecting Grand Array gave out a series of roars. It looked like it wanted to take the initiative to open the Grand Array. Ningcheng did not stop the long spear in his hand. Instead, he gathered his celestial essence and shot out several spear strikes at the mountain protecting Grand Array's array foundation. Koch! Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array was just about to open when Ningcheng's spear strike shattered it. Seeking Intelligence stood in front of Ningcheng in anger. Behind Seeking Intelligence, a few cultivators flew over one after another. In just a short time, hundreds of cultivators stood in front of Ningcheng. Sacred Master, I didn't stop him. An incomparably weak voice came from a distance, and a heaven-seated cultivator beside me Hui, with the fastest speed, carried the female cultivator with bloodstains on her chest and mouth. Sacred Lady Chang is seriously injured. The heaven-seated cultivator spoke up anxiously. In her hand was a beautiful young female cultivator. It was this female cultivator who had sneak attacked Ningcheng and asked Ningcheng to stop. However, Ningcheng ended up injuring her with a backhand punch. It's you. Seeking Intelligence stared at Ningcheng coldly. She knew Ningcheng. It was this little ant who said that he liked Qianghua in front of her. Today, this little ant dared to break the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array, while she was in seclusion. Wait! Breaking the Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array. Seeking Intelligence's heart suddenly tightened. Everlasting Sacred Shrine's mountain protecting Grand Array was something she couldn't break in a hurry. Didn't that mean that the other party's cultivation wasn't any weaker than hers? How could that little cultivator grow to the Eternal Realm so quickly? How was that possible? Chapter 709. Where are my wife Qianghua and Luofei? Ningcheng's killing intent merged with his domain and slowly spread out. The cultivators with lower cultivation simply couldn't bear it, and quickly retreated. How could Mi Hui care about the life and death of an ant like Ji Luofei? Now that Ningcheng asked about it, she just gave a cold snort. What qualifications does an unclean woman have to live in the Holy Land? Having said that, how could Ningqing bear it? With his killing intent erupting, the long spear in his hand shot out a black hole. At the same time he ridiculed. Your parents must have committed a sin to give birth to a thing like you. I guess you've already forgotten that you also have parents. The black hole wasn't because Ningqing broke through space, but because the killing intent in Ningqiang's spear was too powerful. However, it was invisible and completely ignored the surrounding space. Under this powerful killing intent, it gave people the illusion that a black hole had formed in space. The surrounding space shrank under Ningqiang's spear. It felt as if Ningqiang's spear would kill and shatter everyone in its path. The cultivators of the everlasting sacred shrine with lower cultivation instinctively retreated. The thought that if they were slow, the spear intent in the hole would harvest their life essence filled everyone's mind. Mi Hui, who bore the brunt of the attack, felt even more shocked. Facing such a powerful spear intent, Ningqiang's words, which made her go crazy, had long since been thrown aside. She wasn't a person who hadn't seen the world. When Ningqiang's spear shot out, she felt as if she could see a planet shattering in front of it. And she was just an insignificant scene on this planet. If she continued to wait, she would turn into powder along with this planet. Having cultivated to the eternal realm, Mi Hui naturally understood that Ningqiang's spear was a form of mental oppression. But knowing it was one thing, she could only bring out her everlasting sacred sword to deal with it. Ningqiang's traceless spear intent left no traces at all. Even if Mi Hui was an eternal-level expert, she couldn't find the real killing intent of Ningqiang's spear intent in a hurry. This was traceless. Mi Hui didn't look for Ningqiang's spear intent at all. Her everlasting sacred sword didn't bring out a sword light, but a sky full of icy white, like snowflakes covering the entire space. Ningqiang's traceless spear intense murderous aura instantly condensed into a single point. The incomparably majestic sword-light snowflakes wrapped around Ningqiang's spear intent, causing it to erupt with a bone-chilling explosion. Ningqiang gave a muffled groan. He knew that eternal-level cultivators were strong, but seeking wisdom was only at the early stage of the eternal realm. Yet she had already reached this level. He was actually able to unleash his sword domain and forcefully blast away his traceless mystic art, leaving a mark on his traceless mystic art. Boom! Spear intent and sword domain collided, and Ningqiang's powerful celestial essence aura blasted seeking intelligence away. At the same time, Ningqiang also flew back a few dozen meters. Ding dang. Ningqiang stood in the same place as he watched the high-grade Dao artifact long spear in his hand break apart and fall to the ground. A high-grade Dao artifact long spear, unexpectedly split apart by the other party's sword, caused Ningqiang to frown. The sword in Seeking Intelligence's hand was definitely not an ordinary object. Ningqiang simply threw the long spear in his hand to the ground, raised his hand and brought out the Nirvana spear before taking another step forward. Before the spear even moved, it had already stirred up an overwhelming killing intent. Seeking Intelligence felt even more shocked in her heart, as Ningqiang's spiritual consciousness turned out to be even stronger than hers. Otherwise, her sword domain would have forced Ningqiang to stay behind. In fact, Ningqiang had sent her flying even further away. If it weren't for the everlasting sacred sword in her hand being the second treasure of the everlasting sacred shrine, she would have already suffered severe injuries, not to mention breaking apart Ningqiang's weapon. Seeing Ningqiang bring out a new weapon, Seeking Intelligence took in a deep breath and gave a cold snort. Falling snow ice seal. Ningqiang turned out to be more powerful than she had imagined. The everlasting sacred sword in Seeking Intelligence's hand suddenly turned into nothingness, and then snowflakes started to fall. Everything in the world turned into snowflakes at this moment. Even Seeking Intelligence, like the world around her, turned into snowflakes falling from the sky. A powerful binding force and oppression descended, causing Ningqiang to feel his body turning ice cold. Then, cracks started to appear on his skin. It felt as if his body would split apart in the next moment, and turn into the same ice-cold snowflakes around him. This was a spirit technique. Ningqiang immediately understood. In just a blink of an eye, the endless snowflakes condensed and formed icebergs. The icebergs grew bigger and bigger, just like a sky full of meteorites falling from the sky towards Ningqiang. As the snowflakes and icebergs squeezed the space around them, Ning Cheng's survival grew smaller and smaller. The ice and snow carried a soul-piercing whimper, while the icebergs carried a death-like oppression. All of this was aimed at Ning Cheng alone. Perhaps only death could make this kind of oppression dissipate. Only death could free him from it. The sky turned misty, and the disciples around the everlasting sacred shrine could only see a white world at this moment. They could only feel an ice-cold aura. It was whimpering and roaring. The beautiful snowflakes and the ice and snow raged in this world, filling it with an aura of death. No one's spiritual consciousness could penetrate into this world of ice and snow, let alone touch this world of ice and snow. It seemed that as long as one got close to this world, they would turn into nothingness and get killed by the ice and snow. This is my everlasting sacred shrine's ultimate spirit technique, falling snow ice seal. What a powerful spirit technique. Everlasting sacred shrines, heaven and earth forever. Sacred master, heaven and earth forever. Kill this ant who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Kill. With the appearance of this ice and snow spirit technique, the entire world seemed to have fallen under the control of this ice and snow spirit technique. At this moment, no one thought that Ning Cheng was still alive. How could he survive under such a spirit technique? What a joke! All the disciples of the everlasting sacred shrine had only one feeling at this moment: pride. Pride for the everlasting sacred shrine. Pride for having such a powerful sacred master. The everlasting sacred shrine had such a powerful spirit technique, and a powerful sacred master. Yet, someone dared to provoke the sacred shrine. It was no different from courting death. Ning Cheng didn't come to the everlasting sacred shrine to seek death. He came to take away Luofei and Qianghua. He came to tell the everlasting sacred shrine who Luofei and Qianghua were to him. Although the whimpering of the ice and snow was extremely oppressive, it could only leave a few marks on Ning Cheng's skin, and could only cause a few more tears on Ning Cheng's clothes. Even if Ning Cheng stood still and did not resist, the falling snow ice seal spirit technique would not be enough to tear apart Ning Cheng's starry sky body. Ning Cheng allowed the iceberg to press down on him, allowing the whimpering ice and snow to tear him apart. He just took another step forward, as the spear in his hands moved from the back to the front, drawing a semicircle with him as the center, before pointing it towards seeking intelligence. At this moment, the ice and snow between heaven and earth came to a standstill. At this moment, the oppressive iceberg condensed, and everything around the ice and snow world froze. A dustpan-sized setting sun appeared between the ice and snow. This setting sun brought with it the sadness of dusk, and the sadness of impending desolation. As long as everyone looked at this setting sun, they would think that one day, they would be like this setting sun, gradually sinking, gradually turning into bones, and gradually being forgotten by others. This was despair. This was the despair of stillness. This was the despair of life coming to a standstill. The setting sun was infinitely beautiful, but it was approaching dusk. Spirit technique, sunset's twilight. Will I one day end up like this dusk, gradually declining? Seeking intelligence completely forgot about her falling snow ice seal spirit technique, and muttered to herself as she stared at the gradually sinking sunset in front of her. No, I will never fall like this dusk. I am an eternal level powerhouse. I will be eternal. I will coexist with heaven and earth. I will let everlasting sacred shrine coexist with heaven and earth, shining in the starry sky. No, this is not sunset's twilight. This is a spirit technique, and this spirit technique is suppressing my spirit technique. Why do I feel stillness around me? Is this a laws of time-related spirit technique? When seeking intelligence woke up, her soul almost flew away. She had heard of laws of time-related spirit techniques many times, but this was the first time she saw one. No, I can't die. Seeing the long spear approaching her glabella, seeking intelligence screamed madly from the bottom of her heart. She succeeded. She broke free from Ning Cheng's sunset's twilight. However, her success came a little too late. Ning Cheng's long spear had already pierced through her glabella. Old witch, today I, Ning Cheng, will wash everlasting sacred shrine with blood. When seeking intelligence heard this sentence, she completely forgot that she was about to die under Ning Cheng's spirit technique. She completely forgot about her glory. Instead, She knelt on the ground and cried out, "Please don't destroy everlasting sacred shrine." Some remorse welled up in her heart. She remembered Seeking Jin's vague words. That Ningqing didn't seem simple, so she shouldn't go too far. However, she had already gone to the extreme. Poof! The long spear pierced through Seeking Intelligence's glabella, bringing with it a rain of blood. Seeking Intelligence died with her eyes wide open. She still looked at Ningqing and murmured, "Please don't destroy everlasting sacred shrine. Everlasting sacred shrine must pass on." Ningqing clenched the long spear and spoke with a cold voice. "What qualifications do you have to talk about inheritance? You scum who even forgot your parents. Yet you dare talk about inheritance with me. Can you be any more shameless?" After saying that, Ningqing twisted the Nirvana spear in his hand, and Seeking Intelligence's broken life essence directly shattered under Ningqing's long spear. Perhaps Ningqing's words had reminded her, but at the moment of her death, Seeking Intelligence suddenly thought of her parents. When she cultivated an everlasting sacred shrine, she had already forgotten who her parents were. Was she really not qualified to talk about inheritance? Her consciousness finally blurred. The everlasting sacred shrine's disciples, immersed in the beautiful dusk, sobered up at this moment, and immediately saw Sacred Master Seeking Intelligence fall to the ground and die. "Sacred Master!" The seriously injured new Sacred Lady screamed and rushed up. Ningqing clenched the Nirvana spear and did not move. Using Sunset's twilight against Seeking Intelligence, he had to pay a price. The stronger the opponent's cultivation, the greater the strength required to bring out Sunset's twilight. Fortunately, he was also a body-forging cultivator, a powerful body-forging cultivator at that. Otherwise, under Seeking Intelligence's ice and snow spirit technique, his Sunset's twilight might not have been able to suppress her. Looking at the panic-stricken everlasting sacred shrine's disciples, Ningqing's eyes turned red, and his killing intent gradually rose. The moment he learned that Seeking Intelligence killed Luofei, the killing intent in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Chapter 710. Ningqing's powerful killing intent swept out, and before the everlasting sacred shrine's Sacred Lady could get close to the Sacred Master, Ningqing's imposing aura once again sent her flying. At this moment, none of the hundreds of everlasting sacred shrine's disciples dared to move. They all looked like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. "Stop!" An anxious voice rushed over. Ningqing's consciousness that was filled with killing intent was interrupted by this voice, causing his heart to suddenly feel at a loss. Killing these disciples who could not resist was not his intention at all. He didn't want to kill anyone. He just wanted Luofei and Qianghua to return. However, Luofei was killed here. How could he not seek justice for Luofei? "Dao friend Ning, Luofei didn't die. You can't do it again in my everlasting sacred shrine." Mijin, dressed in a gray Taoist robe, landed in front of Ningqing. After finishing the sentence as fast as she could, her eyes filled with anxiety. After learning about Ningqing's power, she guessed that Sacred Master's actions would bring disaster to the everlasting sacred shrine. For this, she cultivated in seclusion like crazy. What she didn't expect was that this disaster would come so quickly. She had just advanced to the life and death realm. Yet Ningqing had already killed everlasting sacred shrine's Sacred Master. No matter how crazily she cultivated, it was useless. Not to mention that she was only in the life and death realm. Even if she advanced to the eternal realm like Sacred Master, she still wouldn't be able to stop Ningqing. With Ningqing killing the everlasting sacred shrine's Sacred Master, even the Starry Sky Emperor of 9 Jewels Starry Sky wouldn't dare to come forward. The only one who could help everlasting sacred shrine was Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor. But now that Ningqing was in the everlasting sacred shrine, where was Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart? Taking a step back, even if Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart helped the everlasting sacred shrine, by the time he arrived, the everlasting sacred shrine would have already turned to dust. "Did you say that Luofei is still here?" Ningqing rushed in front of Mijin, and even raised his hand to grab Mijin's shoulder. Seeking caution held back her panic and spoke, "Yes, Sacred Master wants to kill Qianghua and Luofei. I let Yi send them away. Jingyi will be here soon." You just have to wait for a while before you can ask her. Ningqing slowly sighed, as the redness in his eyes gradually faded. Qianghua? How is Qianghua? Mi Jin's eyes flashed with a hint of guilt as she spoke. I'm sorry, I didn't fulfill my promise. Sacred Master did not allow Sacred Lady Qianghua to cultivate under the everlasting sacred tree, so I could only let Luofei take Qianghua and secretly leave the everlasting sacred shrine. Ningqing looked up as tears fell silently. After a long time, he let out a long, tearing howl. Qianghua had cast a forbidden technique, which prevented her from healing and cultivating under the everlasting sacred shrine's everlasting sacred tree. Most likely, she had already died. Qianghua was the last reincarnation. Since she fell this time, it meant that Qianghua no longer existed. Why was Qianghua's fate so full of misfortune? I'm sorry, fellow Taoist Ning. I've already done my best. This matter has nothing to do with my everlasting sacred shrine, so please don't vent your anger on my everlasting sacred shrine. Mi Jin spoke with a trembling voice. Even if everlasting sacred shrines seeking Hui fell, it was still a major faction within the nine-plate Starland. But in front of Ning Cheng, it was just a piece of cake. Big brother Ning, what Uncle Master Jin said is the truth. I was the one who brought Luofei and Qianghua out of the sacred ground. They are both fine. Jingyi hurriedly ran over and bowed to Ningcheng. At this moment, she already had the cultivation of Celestial Bridge Realm. Thank you, Junior Apprentice Sister Yi. Do you know where Luofei went? Ningqing took in a deep breath and thanked her. Luofei did not die. Even if he destroyed 100 everlasting sacred shrines, it still wouldn't be worth it. Jingyi bowed again and spoke. I'm sorry, big brother Ning. I really don't know. After saying that, she seemed to have thought of something and spoke again. Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, for saving my life last time. Ningqing knew that Jingyi was talking about the changing earth mountains. He shook his head and did not answer. Seeing Mi Jin still wanting to speak, Ningqing waved his hand and spoke. Dao friend Mi Jin, I will not destroy the everlasting sacred shrine. Take me to the everlasting sacred tree. Mi Jin wanted to say something, but seeing Ningqing's eyes, she knew that she couldn't anger the other party anymore. I asked Dao friend Ning to come with me. Ningcheng stood in the most mysterious place of the everlasting sacred shrine, and looked at the lush everlasting sacred tree in front of him. The everlasting sacred tree exuding a strong vitality caused him to sigh in his heart. If he had this cultivation at that time, would Mi Jin dare to not let Qianghua heal here? Mi Jin and the others followed behind Ningcheng, not daring to show any dissatisfaction. After a long time, Ningcheng suddenly brought out the Nirvana spear in his hand, and shot it towards the everlasting sacred tree with a violent momentum. Don't! Mi Jin screamed in horror, but it was too late. Boom! The lush everlasting sacred tree, which contained rich vitality, collapsed under Ningcheng's spear, and its vitality quickly dissipated. Ningcheng turned his head and looked at Mi Jin, who still looked terrified, and spoke with a cold voice. This everlasting sacred tree, even the disciples under it can't come here to heal. What use is it? You saved Luofei once, so I owe you a favor. Goodbye. While speaking, Ningcheng's figure flashed and disappeared from the everlasting sacred tree garden. He didn't take anything from the everlasting sacred shrine, not even the everlasting sacred sword. Sacred Lady Rose, who had been blasted away by Ningcheng twice, once again came to Mi Jin's corpse and picked up the everlasting sacred sword. After watching the starry sky will disappear into the distance with a calm expression, she knelt down beside Mi Jin's corpse and clenched her fists before slowly speaking. Master, you can go. One day, I will kill this person with my own hands and place his head in front of Master's memorial tablet. If I break this oath, Xu Chang will become immortal in the mortal world. Master, where are we going now? Chasing Bull still felt some regret over the leveled Heart Emperor Mountain's Starry Sky Spirit Fruit Banquet. Unfortunately, it didn't know how long it would take to attend such a banquet again. Where to? Ningcheng remained silent. At this moment, he suddenly didn't know where to go. Chasing Bull understood that its master was in a bad mood, and could only shut up and concentrate on controlling the Starry Sky Wheel. After a long time, Ningcheng spoke up. Let's go to a place close to the Nine-Plate Starland. Luofei's cultivation was limited. Even if she left the Nine-Plate Starland, she wouldn't go far. The celestial river closest to the Nine-Plate Starland is the Night Essence Celestial River. Master, are we going to the Night Essence Celestial River? Chasing Bull looked at the starry skywheel's positional disk for a while before speaking. Then let's go to the Night Essence Celestial River first. If there's no news, we'll continue back to Culmination Starland. Ningqing sighed. He knew that this kind of search was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was just too uncertain. Tipping Rainbow City was a starry sky city in the Night Essence Celestial River's Thousand Cry Star. Although Ningqing knew that it was almost impossible to find out anything about Ji Luofei, he still came here. Ningqing arrived at the Tipping Rainbow City's trade union. He wanted to inquire about some mystic realms that had opened in recent years. Luofei had a soft appearance, but a hard heart. She was a very strong-minded woman. Once the cultivation resources he left for Luofei ran out, Luofei would definitely look for cultivation resources on her own. If she wanted to get the best cultivation resources at the fastest speed, she would have to explore all kinds of mystic realms and dangerous places. This guest, how can I help you? The person in charge of the trade union was a middle-aged female cultivator with a celestial shatterer cultivation. Her eyes flickered as she spoke. This kind of person spoke politely, but if you couldn't come up with something, they would only be polite and would never really help you. I want to post a team mission to the ancient Shadow Temple. A cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm came over and cut the line in front of Ningqing. The middle-aged female cultivator immediately put Ningqing aside and spoke to the cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm with a smile. Of course, please state your request. After the cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm finished posting the mission, the middle-aged female cultivator didn't continue to pay attention to Ningqing. Ningqing took out 10 perpetual moon pills and placed them in front of the middle-aged female cultivator. I want to inquire about the mystic realms in the Night Essence Celestial River in recent years, or any places with rich cultivation resources. The female cultivator, on seeing Ningqing take out 10 perpetual moon pills, immediately stood up and stretched out her hand. Ningqing's perpetual moon pills immediately disappeared. Not only did she become more enthusiastic, but her tone also turned more polite. There are many mystic realms in the Night Essence Celestial River, but the most famous one is the Devouring Bone Sea. Although it is dangerous, it has many good things. Many rogue cultivators like to adventure in the Devouring Bone Sea, and some even obtained a Celestial River Essence Chi King pill. In addition to the Devouring Bone Sea, Thorntooth Lake and Nari Valley are all good places to find cultivation resources. I have a jade strip map here. If you want to go there, you can help me post a team mission here. While speaking, the female cultivator also politely handed Ningqing a jade strip map. Many thanks. Ningqing took the jade strip map and thanked her. The female cultivator quickly spoke up. No need, no need. But I want to remind you that you should never go to the Radial Immortal Star's Ice Immortal Ridge. That place is very strange. I heard that countless cultivators died there, and only a few came out alive. Originally, the Ice Immortal Ridge had always been closed. But a few years ago, for some unknown reason, an ice cave appeared in the Ice Immortal Ridge. Many people continued to die because of this passage, but there is nothing good in it. I want to post a team mission to the ancient Shadow Temple. Another cultivator in Heaven's Mandate Realm came over and said. Ningqing secretly wondered what kind of place this ancient Shadow Temple was. In just a short period of time, 2 people had come to issue party quests. One could imagine how many cultivators would form teams in a day. This time, this female cultivator did not leave Ningqing behind, but spoke to Ningqing first. You can take a look at the map first. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I will tell you everything I know. Ningqing waited for the Heaven's Mandate cultivator to finish posting the quest before asking. I just stood here for a while, and I saw 2 people posting a quest to go to the ancient Shadow Temple. What kind of place is this ancient Shadow Temple? The middle-aged female cultivator quickly explained. The ancient Shadow Temple is a newly opened mystic realm named Descendant Celestial River's second revenant star. That mystic realm is huge. and I heard that it contains countless treasures. Even many heaven-seated powerhouses go there. However, those who could travel to the named Descendant Celestial River had to be at least at the Heaven's Mandate realm, and they had to pay a hefty price. If you want to go, you might as well go to the Devouring Bone Sea. Chapter 7:11. Named Descendant Celestial River, Second Revenant Star? Wasn't this the place where he had been looking for Rulin? He wanted to find the secret of the metal origin, and then return to Second Revenant Star. However, he hadn't expected that because he had been cultivating in that hidden starfield, the mysterious yellow had leaked out, and he had almost been killed by Guasangon. Later, he fled to the ancient Desolace abandoned land and entered the Eternal Night domain. After learning that the ancient Shadow Temple had appeared on Second Revenant Star, Ningqing immediately decided to go to the ancient Shadow Temple. Since a mystic realm had appeared on Second Revenant Star, there might be people he was familiar with. If a cultivator from the graceful Star mainland went to the ancient Shadow Temple, he could ask about Ruolin. The Starry Sky will had a much higher speed compared to ordinary flight-type weapons. Therefore, after entering the named Descendant Celestial River with the Starry Sky Wheel, Ningqing finally understood the influence of the ancient Shadow Temple. Along the way, almost all the flight-type weapons were heading towards a single place, named Descendant Celestial River's Second Revenant Star. Just as Ningqing said, Second Revenant Star was truly lively right now. Covered Snow City, the closest city to the ancient Shadow Temple, was already overcrowded at this time. The originally desolate Covered Snow City was now filled with all kinds of magnificent skyscrapers. The starry sky chambers of commerce from all over the world were like cats that had smelled fish, and they all rushed here. The price of land in Covered Snow City skyrocketed in just one day. Even a shop in Grand Culmination Starry Skies Eternal Heaven Starry Sky City could not compare to the price in Covered Snow City. In the past, those who had occupied territories here and built various merchant houses had all made a lot of money. Of course, those were those who had the ability to occupy this place. If you don't have the ability, even if you occupy this place, it will be snatched away by others, or even destroyed. There are so many people here. Chasing Bull, who followed behind Ningqing, spoke up with excitement. This fellow loved lively scenes the most. What Chasing Bull said was right. There really were a lot of people here. Ningqing and Chasing Bull hadn't yet entered Covered Snow City, but the area outside Covered Snow City was already packed with people. Temporary market squares and trading halls were set up outside Covered Snow City. There were cultivators everywhere, and there were people everywhere. After arriving at this place, Ningqing did not see any ancient Shadow Temple. Instead, he saw countless people. This reminded him of the time when he was on Earth. Every holiday and long holiday, all the major scenic spots would be packed with people. Master, there are too many people outside the Covered Snow City. Let's go to the city, Chasing Bull whispered from the side. Ningqing understood what Chasing Bull meant. Since there were already so many people outside Covered Snow City, then there would definitely be more people inside the city. However, Chasing Bull wasn't afraid of crowds. It wanted to squeeze into the crowd. In fact, Ningqing also planned to explore Covered Snow City. To go to the ancient Shadow Temple, one had to go to the east of Covered Snow City. If one entered Covered Snow City from the west, and then came out from the east, they would reach the ancient Shadow Temple. You can bring your companion beast into the city. It's a total of 20,000 green coins for 2 people. The guard at the city gate stopped Ningqing. 20,000 green coins was not a small amount for an ordinary cultivator. However, Ningqing did not care about it at all. He casually rewarded others with 10 perpetual moon pills, so why would he care about 20,000 green coins? He casually took out 1,000 purple coins and stuffed it into the guard's hand, casually saying, "The rest is a tip." For cultivators at Ningqing's level, most of them used perpetual moon pills and permanent essence pills, or even starry sky essence chi veins. Celestial coins were just dispensable things for them. Even celestial essence stones had a greater use for them than celestial coins. After Ningqing and Chasing Bull walked far away, the guard reacted and quickly thanked them with a bow. "Many thanks, Senior, for the reward." Celestial coins did not have much use for Ningcheng, but for ordinary cultivators, it was a cultivation resource. With this thing they could buy medicinal pills, weapons, or anything else they wanted from anywhere. Chasing Bull had not spoken incorrectly. Although covered Snow City was crowded with people, it didn't look as crowded as the outside. Ningcheng knew the reason for this. It was because 20,000 green coins to enter covered Snow City was too high for ordinary cultivators. Ningcheng naturally wouldn't buy any weapons or medicinal pills in such a small place. Instead, he walked through covered Snow City and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness directly broke through some of the shielding restrictions. Fortunately, Ningcheng only wanted to find someone. Therefore, after his spiritual consciousness penetrated the restrictions, he didn't destroy them. Therefore, no one dared to say anything. How could a cultivator who could break through the shielding restrictions with his spiritual consciousness be simple? After walking for most of the day, Ningcheng stood at the bridge connecting covered Snow City's East City and West City. However, he couldn't find any acquaintances. The words East Gate Bridge gave off an imposing aura. Apparently, this East Gate Bridge had been rebuilt not long ago. Walking across the East Gate Bridge, one could only see newly built luxury merchant buildings and various pavilions. Judging from the layout, one could tell that these luxury merchant buildings and pavilions all belonged to the same master. Master, should we go in and have a look? The merchant buildings here are just too beautiful. Chasing Bull had followed Ningcheng for most of the day, but hadn't entered a single restaurant. It felt envious in its heart. Ningcheng wasn't in the mood to go to a restaurant and casually said, "After leaving the East City, we'll walk around the ancient Shadow Temple. If we don't find any acquaintances, we'll return to Culmination Starland." Chasing Bull lowered its head and didn't dare to say anything. It just followed Ningcheng across the East Gate Bridge. Ningcheng had just walked across the East Gate Bridge when a figure flew out of a pavilion at the end of the bridge. This figure flew directly towards Ningcheng's side, but before it could land on the ground, it coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood in the air. Apparently, someone had blasted this figure out of the bridge. Ningcheng didn't even stretch out his hand when his domain stopped this figure. The figure fell to the ground and took a few steps back before standing firm. It was a middle-aged man who looked like he had gone through the vicissitudes of life, with an undead cultivation. If not for Ningcheng's domain, he would have broken at least a few of his bones. This person didn't seem to know that someone had helped him. After landing on the ground, he rushed towards the pavilion with bloodshot eyes. Ningcheng shook his head. This fellow truly didn't fear death. Someone had obviously beaten him to death. Yet, after being saved by Ningcheng, he still rushed up. In fact, before this man could rush up, someone had already come out of the pavilion. Ningcheng didn't care about it. This kind of thing happened everywhere every day, and it wasn't surprising at all. Moreover, he didn't know who was in the right and who was in the wrong. Luyu Luyu. The man didn't care about the two cultivators rushing towards him and frantically called out Luyu's name, while rushing towards the luxurious pavilion. Ningcheng stopped. He suddenly felt that the name Luyu sounded a bit familiar. But soon he remembered who Luyu was. It was Xianyu's elder sister. Xianyu's elder sister, Luyu, was fancied by Orchid Burrow Celestial River's Orchid Burrow King. However, Luyu already had someone she loved, and she and her beloved escaped from Orchid Burrow Celestial River. As a result, Orchid Burrow King vented his anger on Luyu's family. Fortunately, Xianyu replaced her elder sister and married Orchid Burrow King, which calmed Orchid Burrow King's anger. Later, after Xianyu's relatives died, Xianyu eloped with her good friend, Jing Wuming, on their way to Striking Order Starland. At that time, Jing Wuming said that he wanted to go to Time Wilderness. However, Ningcheng didn't see him in Time Wilderness and didn't know if he went there or not. Ningcheng didn't know if this man called Luyu was Xianyu's elder sister. If it was, then for Jing Wuming's sake he would help. To be honest, Ningcheng didn't have a good impression of Xianyu's elder sister, Luyu. This woman didn't even care about her family in order to stay with her man. From this, one could imagine that if it weren't for her younger sister, her family wouldn't have survived in front of Orchid Burrow King. Let's go and have a look. Ningcheng took the lead and walked over. Chasing Bull was a fellow that wished to see the world in chaos. Seeing its master interested in visiting this restaurant, it quickly walked ahead and led the way. The restaurant is busy right now. Come back later. The waiter stopped Chasing Bull. However, his words were meant for Ning Cheng, who stood behind Chasing Bull. Chasing Bull opened its mouth and sneezed. My master came to your restaurant because he thinks highly of you. Hurry up and open the door, welcome my master upstairs, and then bring out the best wine for my master. Give the second best wine to this Grandpa Bull. The waiter felt shocked by Chasing Bull's words. A talking demonic beast was already surprising enough. But what was even more outrageous was that this demonic pet dared to say such words in G-Clan's restaurant. Was it courting death? Even the two cultivators who stopped the man rushing towards the restaurant felt stunned by Chasing Bull's words. Both of them had the same thoughts. So where did this arrogant, stupid bull come from? Ning Cheng slapped Chasing Bull's head. Step aside. If you don't know how to speak, then don't speak. In the future, don't speak without a chin. How many people do you want to offend in a day? Master, I have a chin. Chasing Bull lowered its head and muttered. It didn't dare to continue talking nonsense. What a big face and a big tongue. I'd like to see who wants my restaurant to open the door and bring out the best wine. A disdainful voice arrived, followed by a male cultivator in brocade robes. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the pavilion and found that the decorations inside looked more luxurious and magnificent than the outside. His spiritual consciousness did not hesitate to break open the restrictions on the second floor, and in one of the rooms on the second floor, he saw a female cultivator covered in blood, her clothes in disarray. Ning Cheng immediately recognized this female cultivator as Lu Yu, who looked 80% similar to Xian Yu. Knowing that Lu Yu was indeed here, Ning Cheng ignored the male cultivator in brocade robes and walked up to the restrained man and asked, "What's your name?" The man's eyes and face were filled with resentment. Unfortunately, someone had stopped him and couldn't resist at all. Now that Ning Cheng asked, he immediately replied, "My name is Dongli." But then he froze. Didn't I say I couldn't speak? How could I suddenly speak? Your Dao companion is called Lu Yu. You were wanted by the Orchid Burrow King and escaped from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Ning Cheng spoke with a flat tone. Dongli felt even more sluggish. He and Lu Yu had been hiding in this inconspicuous place for many years. How did this cultivator know about it? Chapter 7:12. How can you talk? I clearly just sealed. The cultivator who had locked Dong Li in place was not able to finish his words when Ning Cheng kicked him away. Even the cultivator standing next to him was also kicked away by Ning Cheng. Dong Li, go upstairs and bring Lu Yu out, and then come with me. Ning Cheng said after kicking away the two cultivators who had locked Dong Li. Dong Li came back to his senses. Someone was standing up for him. He repeatedly thanked. Thank you, senior. Thank you. Although he thanked Ning Cheng, he didn't slow down at all. After just a few words, he rushed into the restaurant again. The brocade-robed male cultivator, who came out of the restaurant, looked at Ning Cheng in a daze, and didn't dare to stop Dong Li. The two cultivators who had locked Dong Li were both in Heaven's Mandate realm, yet this person easily kicked them away. Was this person a heaven-seated expert? Regardless of whether Ning Cheng was a heaven-seated expert or not, he didn't dare to continue talking to Ning Cheng, at least not now. Chasing Bull, on seeing Ning Cheng take action, immediately walked to the brocade-robed male cultivator's side and stretched out its hoof to rub against his robe. Kid, your clothes look good. At least it looks like a human touching a dog. The brocade-robed male cultivator didn't dare to refute Chasing Bull's words and just secretly sent out a few messages. In just a few minutes, Dong Li came out with Lu Yu. By this time, Lu Yu had changed into a clean robe, but the scar on her neck was still very clear. Lu Yu, thanks senior for saving my life. Lu Yu was much more worldly than Dong Li, and the first thing she did after coming out was to thank Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng waved his hand. It's nothing. You can come with me. After I leave Second Revenant Star, I'll take you two with me. Ning Cheng was very clear that the person who could occupy such a large piece of land in this place and build such a luxurious merchant house was definitely not an ordinary cultivator. If he left after saving Dong Li and Lu Yu, these two people would fall into the hands of others sooner or later. As for helping Lu Yu find justice and fighting back, Ningqing didn't even think about it. Such things happen too often. Unless the people around him were bullied, he wouldn't care about such things. Lu Yu said gratefully, thank you, Senior. This junior and his wife have never met Senior before. Ningqing knew what Lu Yu was worried about. These two people had been hiding here for many years, and had developed the habit of being cautious. If they didn't know his identity and followed him, they wouldn't feel at ease. After understanding Lu Yu's thoughts, Ningqing simply explained, you don't have to worry about it. I saved you because of Xianyu. I know Xianyu, so I know what happened to you. That's why I saved you. Lu Yu was obviously not an ignorant little girl. She had experienced too many things. With Ningqing's flat tone and expression, coupled with knowing Xianyu, she immediately understood what the problem was. However, she pursed her lips and did not explain the matter. Chasing Bull was a long-winded fellow. Not only was it long-winded, but it also liked to meddle. Ningqing did not ask for the reason, but it could not help but deliberately walk to Dong Li's side, and opened its mouth to speak. You don't have any experience, just look at the luxurious appearance of that restaurant. You know that it is not something you can deal with. You too don't know life from death, and even tried to find trouble with that restaurant. In Lu Yu's view, although Chasing Bull was just a companion beast, since it could follow her savior, it naturally had a high status. Moreover, this companion beast's aura clearly surpassed her and Dong Li's. Although Lu Yu only had a celestial bridge cultivation, she understood the relationship in an instant and quickly replied with a respectful tone. Senior Spirit Beast, this place originally belonged to me and Dong Li. But when the ancient Shadow Temple appeared, Ji Clan occupied it. The Ji Clan basically snatched all the nearby shops like this. They didn't spend any money at all. For the sake of these shops, who knows how many innocent people the Ji Clan has killed? Hearing Lu Yu address it as Senior Spirit Beast, Chasing Bull spoke up with even more pride. Well, you have a good eye. In that case, why are you still here? Spirit Beast was a respectful title for ordinary companion beasts. Even if one looked at the entire starry sky, where would a spirit beast come from? Even if there was a spirit beast, how could it become someone else's companion beast? The reason why Chasing Bull spoke so proudly was that it truly was a spirit beast. It's all my fault. Yuer and I did some business outside the ancient Shadow Temple, and made some money recently. But because more and more people came here, Yuer felt a little worried, so we decided to leave this place. Before leaving, I felt a little reluctant to leave my old store, so I came here to reminisce about it. I didn't expect to get caught for no reason. If it weren't for Senior. Ningqing naturally understood Dong Li's words. If it weren't for him, Lu Yu and Dong Li would have most likely died here today. Lu Yu followed and explained. Someone in the store must have recognized me and wanted to take me to the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to hand me over to the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King. I've been away from the Orchid Burrow Celestial River for so many years. It stands to reason that no one would recognize me even if there was a wanted poster. Ningqing felt relieved in his heart. He knew better than Lu Yu what was going on. If he guessed correctly, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King must have failed to catch Xianyu, and started to put a wanted poster on Xianyu. Since someone wanted to capture Lu Yu, it most likely confused the two. Since Xianyu had not been caught, Jing Wuming naturally would not be caught. Seeing Ningqing not speaking, Lu Yu spoke up with some worry. Senior, the people who were taught a lesson by Senior were from the Ji clan. These merchant buildings all belong to the Ji family. Senior saved me and Dong Li here. I'm afraid. Chasing Bull gave a cold snort. What is there to be afraid of? It's fine if the Ji family doesn't come, but if they do, Master doesn't even need to do anything. This old bull will trample them to death. Dong Li also carefully spoke up. Named Descendant Celestial River's Celestial River King is called Ji Yangyao. I heard that he is a powerhouse in the life and death realm. As for named Descendant Star's main star, named Mu, Ye Star's master was called Ji Yaoji, and he had just advanced to the heaven-seated realm. The owner of this merchant house was Ji Honglu, and Ji Honglu was the granddaughter of Celestial River King Ji Yangyao. Senior, look. The Ji family is nothing. Even if this old bull had been to leveled Heart Emperor Mountain, Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor would have to stand in front of this old bull to speak. Chasing Bull started to brag. Dong Li and Lu Yu rarely went out and lived in seclusion in this place, but that didn't mean that they didn't know anything. They also knew about Heavenly Emperor Chuan Xinlo of Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain. Hearing Chasing Bull say that Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain had also been to Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain, and that Heavenly Emperor Chuan Xinlo would stand in front of him to speak, they couldn't help but feel shocked. They couldn't help but wonder if Chasing Bull was telling the truth or not. Chasing Bull, on seeing the frightened Dong Li and Lu Yu, spoke up with even more pride. Master, why don't we buy this piece of land belonging to the Ji clan, and then move Culmination Starland's Cheng Rulan artifact crafting store here? Ning Cheng didn't even bother to pay attention to Chasing Bull. Instead, his spiritual consciousness swept out in an overwhelming manner. Cheng Rulan artifact crafting store? At this time, Dong Li and Lu Yu spoke up at the same time. Ning Cheng subconsciously looked at Dong Li and Lu Yu, wondering why the two were so surprised about this artifact crafting store. Seeing Ning Cheng's surprised gaze, Lu Yu reacted quickly and quickly replied, Senior, there used to be a store in front of our store called Cheng Rulan, but it's called Cheng Rulan Restaurant. You said there's a Cheng Rulan restaurant here? What's the owner's name? Ning Cheng had long since forgotten that Lu Yu was a female cultivator. He reached out and grabbed Lu Yu's shoulder, as if afraid that she would walk away. The owner's name is Helian Mingzhi, and he has a granddaughter, Helian Dai. Lu Yu only finished half of her words when Ning Cheng put down his hand in disappointment. It wasn't surprising for people to have the same name in this vast starry sky. Even so, he still had to ask where Helian Mingzhi went. There's also a helper called Ning Rulan. Cheng Rulan Restaurant is named after Ning Rulan. After hearing Lu Yu's words, Ning Cheng felt stunned. After a few breaths, he asked with a trembling voice, Where did Ning Rulan go? Where is she? Senior. Lu Yu seemed to feel something and called out with some uncertainty. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and cupped his fists towards Lu Yu and Dong Li. My name is Ning Cheng, Ning Rulan's elder brother. I came here to look for Rulan. Tell me, where is Rulan? Lu Yu and Dong Li opened their mouths wide and couldn't speak for a long time. Rulan's cultivation couldn't be any lower. How could she have such a powerful elder brother? Hurry up and talk. Are you mute? Chasing Bull saw Lu Yu and Dong Li in a daze and shouted with some dissatisfaction. Lu Yu recovered and quickly spoke up. Cheng Rulan Restaurant, like my shop, was forcibly occupied by Ji clan. Ning Cheng interrupted Lu Yu's words in fear. Is Rulan okay? After a moment of silence, Lu Yu spoke up with some uncertainty. I guess she should be fine. A few months ago, I saw Helian Dai in front of the ancient Shadow Temple. She seemed to have opened a temporary shop there. I think since Helian Dai is fine, Rulan should also be fine. Ning Cheng felt anxious and hurriedly spoke up. Hurry up and take me to the ancient Shadow Temple, the place where you saw Helian Dai last time. Yes, Senior. Lu Yu and Dong Li hurriedly led the way. Ning Cheng didn't have the mood to settle accounts with Ji clan at this time. At least he had to find Rulan first. Whether he could find Rulan or not, he would raise Ji clan to the ground for occupying Cheng Rulan Restaurant. So what if it was a celestial river king? He had just killed a sacred master in Everlasting Sacred Shrine, and even planned to take a trip to the Endless Void Docks. Why would he care about a celestial river king? Not to mention that Striking Order Heavenly Emperor wouldn't fall out with him for killing the named Descendant Celestial River's Celestial River King. Even if Striking Order Heavenly Emperor fell out with him, he wouldn't fear it. The ancient Shadow Temple wasn't far from the East Gate of Covered Snow City. Ning Cheng followed Lu Yu out of the East Gate, and in less than half an hour, they arrived at the periphery of the ancient Shadow Temple. However, various array formations had melted the snow here, and various temporary buildings, makeshift marketplaces, caves and artifacts could be seen everywhere. People came and went, creating a lot of noise. Lu Yu quickly led Ning Cheng to the place where she saw Helian Dai. She pointed to a newly erected merchant house and said, This merchant house didn't exist at that time. This is Helian Dai's territory. I guess Helian Dai and the others had been driven away. Chapter 713. Friend, how can our store help you? The shopkeeper had a much better vision compared to the shop assistant. As soon as he came out, he cupped his fists and spoke to Ningcheng. He couldn't see Ningcheng's cultivation, but Chasing Bull's imposing aura was clearly no less than his. With such a companion beast, the owner definitely wouldn't be bad. At least late-stage Heaven's Mandate realm. As for the Heaven-seeded realm, he shouldn't have reached it yet. He could also see that Ningcheng wasn't that old. Starry Sky cultivators had to accumulate their cultivation over the years, and there was no such thing as a casual success. For a moment, more than a dozen people stood up and shouted. The cultivators didn't know what happened, but when they saw the goatee being blasted out and Ningcheng destroying the store, they immediately rushed over. From today onwards, this place will once again become Chengrulan Restaurant. As for named River Chamber of Commerce, it will soon disappear from Second Revenant Star. No, it will disappear from named Descendant Celestial River. Chasing Bull, take off the hoof. Let's talk after we figure it out. Ningcheng, seeing the shop assistant send out a message, patted Chasing Bull. In fact, even the worst middle-grade airship artifact would make people go crazy, let alone Ningcheng's airship artifact of such high quality. Ningcheng asked in a calm tone. How long has it been since you moved this store here? The reason why he pointed to this cultivator was that a middle-grade airship artifact was too attractive for ordinary cultivators. If it were a cultivator with a lower cultivation, they might not even be able to keep it, and might even lose their lives. It was normal for named River Chamber of Commerce to drive away other rogue cultivators who wanted to do business. If named River Chamber of Commerce didn't have a place here, and didn't drive away the rogue cultivators who occupied a good spot, it would have been abnormal. After saying that, Ningcheng stretched out his hand and slapped out. The goatee let out a scream before Ningcheng blasted him out of the store. Ningcheng's slap also destroyed the store. After that, Chasing Bull kicked twice and directly knocked down all the sample cabinets inside the counter. In just a moment, the place behind the counter turned into a mess. Chasing Bull lifted its foot and stepped on the counter. This time, Chasing Bull smashed the counter into pieces. Goatee, it's your fortune that Master asked you a question. Master has a good temper, but this old bull has a bad temper. Do you want to challenge this old bull's bottom line? I know. Ningcheng's eyes were filled with coldness as he looked at the goatee and spoke. You are shopkeeper Quan. However, it wasn't normal for them to come here and drive away the named River Chamber of Commerce's merchant house and demolish it. Although everyone appreciated Ningcheng's actions from the bottom of their hearts, but no one stood up to echo him. What kind of place was named River Chamber of Commerce? No one would go against the named River Chamber of Commerce for no reason. The cultivator who came out from the shop informed them about what happened earlier. It did not take long for almost all the cultivators there to find out that the shop that named River Trade Association chased away also had a backer. Now that their backer had come to settle the score, there was bound to be a struggle between them and the named River Chamber of Commerce. Lu Yu, who followed behind Ningcheng, quickly spoke up. Senior, named River Chamber of Commerce is one of the 5 major chambers of commerce in named Descendant Celestial River. The leader, Fuinghe, is a sky-seated expert. When the Peak Heaven's Mandate cultivator heard Ningcheng's words, he excitedly squeezed to the front and said, Senior, I know about this matter very well. There used to be a winery here that was opened by 3 people. The owner was Helian Mingzhi. I don't know the names of the other 2, but they were 2 female cultivators with low cultivation. The named Descendant Chamber of Commerce came here a bit late and couldn't occupy a spot, so they forcibly drove the 3 away. The goateed man, on seeing Ningcheng speak the truth, spoke up in a cold tone. This is my named Descendant Celestial River's matter. You don't have to worry about it. Now please get out. You are not welcome here. Our merchant house wants to do business. Ningcheng nodded, but still stared at the goateed man and said, Why did I hear that you snatched this merchant house? The shop owners in front are called Helian Mingzhi and Helian Dai. Call the shopkeeper out. Ningcheng squeezed in and separated the crowd at the counter. Since Ningcheng's clues about Rulan ended here, how could Ningcheng have the patience to stand in line? Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, and all the restrictions around him had no effect on his spiritual consciousness. However, he didn't see any trace of Ning Rulan, nor did he see Helian Dai, who Lu Yu had mentioned. Most of the people here were rogue cultivators, and no one wanted to cause trouble. Ning Cheng squeezed in with a bit of ominous aura. Ning Cheng didn't even need to do anything, as the cultivators in front of the counter automatically parted. Some of the less courageous cultivators even started to retreat. Stand in line at the back, or please get out. If you want to cause trouble here, you've come to the wrong place. The shop assistant, on seeing Ning Cheng squeezing out the surrounding cultivators, and even letting some of the customers leave, immediately shouted out in displeasure. The shop's business was very good. It didn't matter if Ning Cheng had one more or one less. The shopkeeper quickly came down. He was an elegant man with a goateed beard and a cultivation at the peak of Heaven's mandate realm. When the crowd moved out of the way, Ning Cheng waved his hand again, and the merchant house, which had not yet completely collapsed, turned into ruins. After destroying the entire merchant house, Ning Cheng continued, "Named River Chamber of Commerce forcibly occupied my friend's winery. Today I will take it back." The goateed bearded shopkeeper felt a chill run down his spine, and immediately thought about why he should be afraid of him. Even if this person was a heaven-seated cultivator, he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. Moreover, behind him was a heaven-seated powerhouse. Moreover, it was a middle-stage heaven-seated powerhouse. Do you have the guts to speak with such boldness? I, Fuinghe, came here today to see what method you would use to make my named River Chamber of Commerce disappear. Don't let my named River Chamber of Commerce disappear first. A cold and angry voice arrived, and then a middle-aged man in a brown cultivator robe landed on the merchant house that Ning Cheng had destroyed. Before Ning Cheng could speak, Chasing Bull stepped forward and stepped on the counter. Didn't you hear Master's words? Call your shopkeeper out. This old bull will count to 3. If the shopkeeper doesn't show up, this old bull will tear down your shop. Chasing Bull had been with Ning Cheng for a long time, and had already come to understand its master's temper. This was the time to show off. Otherwise, its master would feel useless and throw it back into his storage ring. Ning Cheng didn't care about the goateed bearded shopkeeper bringing out his flying sword. Instead, he turned to the cultivators watching the excitement inside and said, "If anyone here can say how this merchant house came to be, I will give you a middle-grade flight-type Dao artifact." No matter how famous the named River Chamber of Commerce was, it couldn't stop these cultivators from showing their love for Ning Cheng's airship-type Dao artifact. Even Lu Yu and Dong Li, who stood behind Ning Cheng, had a fiery glow in their eyes. Middle-grade Dao artifact airship? How many years would it take to save enough celestial coins to buy it? I know. Chasing Bull's imposing aura pressed down, and the shopkeeper immediately found it difficult to breathe. He didn't wait for Chasing Bull to say it a second time, and quickly took out his communication pearl to send out a few messages. The goateed bearded man's eyes flashed with fear, but before he could answer, the Peak Heaven's mandate cultivator who told Ning Cheng about the problem spoke up. Yes, he is shopkeeper Quan. After saying that, Ning Cheng raised his hand, and threw out an airship-type Dao artifact. The airship looked exquisite, and the aura of Dao charm flowed over it. Spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate it at all. The surrounding cultivators immediately understood that it was a very good middle-grade Dao artifact airship. The shopkeeper heard Lu Yu's worried voice and gave a disdainful snort. Speak. Ning Cheng pointed to a fierce-looking Peak Heaven's mandate cultivator. Yes, master. Chasing Bull completely ignored the surrounding gazes, and respectfully put away its hooves. However, it felt triumphant in its heart. It thought that it had not done anything wrong this time. If it had done something wrong, its master would have given it a slap, and not just a light pat. From the looks of it, its skills in pleasing its master were improving day by day. How could those little bees compare to this old bull in the future? Everyone looked at Ning Cheng, who came out of the broken merchant house, but no one knew what Ning Cheng wanted to do. Most of them wondered where this person came from, and even dared to provoke one of named River Chamber of Commerce, one of the 5 major chambers of commerce in named Descendant Celestial River. The goateed bearded shopkeeper suddenly felt a thump in his heart for no reason, and a bad feeling rose in his heart. However, he still replied politely, I've been here for less than 3 months. Ning Cheng looked at the goateed bearded man's expression. and understood that this Heaven's Mandate cultivator did not lie. With a wave of his hand, the middle-grade Dao artifact airship fell into the hands of this Heaven's Mandate cultivator. This thing belongs to you. The rest of you can leave this place. As soon as the fear in his heart disappeared, the goateed bearded man's voice grew louder. Friend, how did I get this place? It doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? My shop is a branch of Named River Chamber of Commerce. If you have any questions, you can go to Named River Chamber of Commerce and ask. At that time, Helian Mingjer had walked a bit slower and ended up injured by someone. The one who injured Helian Mingjer was shopkeeper Quan. After Helian Mingjer got injured, the two female cultivators immediately took Helian Mingjer away. As for where they went, I don't know. In fact, this merchant house not only occupies Helian Mingjer's shop, but also the shops of several rogue cultivators around it. Named River Chamber of Commerce's Association Master Fuingha is here. Someone in the crowd immediately whispered. You. Seeing Chasing Bull acting so unscrupulously, the goateed bearded shopkeeper's expression finally changed. He could see that Ningqing did not fear their Named River Chamber of Commerce at all. At this moment, he did not even have the time to send out a message and directly brought out a flying sword. Ningqing then spoke to the surrounding cultivators. Friends, please step back and give up this place. I'm going to arrange an array formation. Ningqing walked into the merchant house that Lu Yu had pointed out and saw many people inside. From this, one could tell that this merchant house's business was very good. This was a merchant house that purchased spiritual grasses and sold medicinal pills. This time, Ningqing did not speak at all. If Helian Dai had left through a formal transaction, this goateed bearded shopkeeper would have told the truth. But now that the goateed bearded man spoke, it meant that they had forced out the previous shop. As Ningqing spoke those words, the chattering voices immediately disappeared. The scene turned silent. These words were tantamount to an irreconcilable enmity with Named River Chamber of Commerce. If it were just a matter of competing for territory, then they could still discuss it and mutually compensate each other for the losses. But to make Named River Chamber of Commerce disappear, this enmity would definitely be huge. Where the hell did this cultivator come from? How could he speak without caring about the consequences? Thump. When the goateed bearded man fell to the ground, his meridians broke and his cultivation completely destroyed by Ningqing. Ningqing even tore down the Named River Chamber of Commerce's merchant house, so no one dared to not step aside. 4 Starry Sky cultivators. A good flight-type weapon meant a more powerful life-saving means. The ancient Shadow Temple opened a long time ago, and you came so late. How did you get such a good sight? Ningqing stared into the shopkeeper's eyes and asked with a stern voice. Chapter 7:14. Named River Chamber of Commerce's Association Master, Fuingha, had arrived. Everyone knew that there would be a good show to watch. That's him. He acted arrogantly in our G Clan's restaurant. Not only did he beat up our people, but he also directly took away the woman that the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King wanted. A man in brocaded robes pointed at Ningqing from the crowd and spoke to a black-robed male cultivator next to him through gritted teeth. Uncle Bai-san, go up and take him down. I want him to suffer a fate worse than death. I want this ant to know the consequences of offending my G family. The brocade-robed man spoke almost one word at a time. This was because he knew that he was not Ningqing's opponent. If he could beat Ningqing, then maybe he would have already rushed up. The black-robed male cultivator called by Sun waved his hand at the brocade-robed man. Wait, Fuingha is here. Not only did this person provoke my G family, he even continues to provoke the Named River Chamber of Commerce. I want to see just what kind of means he has. If he can't even deal with Fuingha, how could he be worthy of my G clan's help? When the man in embroidered robes heard this, he did not dare to talk back. He could only mutter, Uncle Bai-san, Fuingha has already found him. How can I still have a chance to take revenge? The black-robed male cultivator grinned. It's easy to take revenge. When Fuingha captures this person, he will definitely humiliate him. At that time, you can go up and take revenge however you want. As long as we are still in named Descendant Celestial River, Named River Chamber of Commerce would still have to give face to my G clan. Thank you, Uncle Bai Senior. The man in embroidered clothes was overjoyed when he heard this. Ning Cheng, with his hands behind his back, stood in front of Fu Yinghe and spoke with a calm tone. If it was indeed your named River Chamber of Commerce who forcibly drove away the winery from before, and even injured people because they walked a bit slower than you, then you wouldn't have done so. Named River Chamber of Commerce will indeed be removed from named Descendant Celestial River. Fu Yinghe laughed out of anger. I've seen arrogant people, but I've never seen someone as arrogant as you. Then I, Fu Yinghe, will tell you that my named River Chamber of Commerce doesn't need an inexplicable fellow to tell us what to do. Since you've destroyed my named River Chamber of Commerce's merchant house today, I'll use your flesh and soul as a sacrifice. As he spoke, the killing intent around Fu Yinghe pressed down layer by layer. One by one, the nearby cultivators kept retreating. Under this oppressive atmosphere, they felt extremely uncomfortable. Ning Cheng kicked Chasing Bull next to him. Chasing Bull, I'll leave this fellow to you. He's not worth my time. Chasing Bull wanted to wait for its master to kill Fu Yinghe before going up to show off its arrogance. However, it never expected that its master would ask it to go up and fight. It immediately drooped its head and spoke with a sad voice. Master, I'm not an adult yet. Get up there and fight. If you lose, stay in the ring and don't come out. Ning Cheng kicked Chasing Bull's tail again. Chasing Bull immediately turned anxious when it heard that it couldn't come out if it lost. It couldn't come out. Staying in the ring with a few little bees was killing it. After seeing the colorful world outside, Chasing Bull didn't want to go back alone. Since old master told me to come out and fight, he definitely won't let me die. After Chasing Bull understood this, it ignored Fu Yinghe's domain suppression and rushed up. It opened its mouth and spat out a thick blade light. At the same time, its huge front hooves stepped towards Fu Yinghe. Courting death. Fu Yinghe saw a starry sky grade 6 beast daring to ignore his domain, and gave a cold snort. He didn't even bother to take out a weapon and punched out. He believed that this stupid bull wouldn't be able to move an inch under his domain. His fist would then smash it into pieces. One move, just one move, and he could kill this stupid bull. That arrogant young cultivator relied on concealing his cultivation to act crazy. Today, Fu Yinghe would let him know that not everyone was a coward. But the next moment, Fu Yinghe felt something wrong. His domain didn't have any effect on the stupid bull in front of him. Moreover, his domain started to crack inch by inch, and a more powerful domain suppressed it, causing his fist to suddenly slow down. This was the suppression of an eternal expert. Fu Yinghe's expression immediately changed. To suppress him with such an absolute advantage, this fellow definitely had to be an eternal expert. He didn't know that although Ning Cheng was only in the life and death realm, his domain and spiritual consciousness far surpassed that of ordinary eternal experts. Without waiting for him to speak, Chasing Bull's wind blade blasted over. The wind blade completely ignored Fu Yinghe's domain, and directly slammed into Fu Yinghe's fist. Puff puff. Blood sprayed out, and Fu Yinghe's fist bones suddenly broke. It's just that Chasing Bull's cultivation was too low compared to Fu Yinghe's. Even with Ning Cheng's help, it only managed to break Fu Yinghe's fist bones. Chasing Bull felt ecstatic in its heart. If it had known that it would be so simple, this old bull would have already asked for help. Instead of cowering, its master would have looked down on it. It knew that its master wouldn't let it die. Now, it seemed that it was indeed the case. Ning Cheng, on seeing that Chasing Bull's wind blades didn't have much power, frowned a little. This stupid bull didn't have any real skills apart from flattery. In order to end the fight quickly, Ning Cheng sent out several spiritual consciousness blades. Ning Cheng's cultivation was already higher than Fu Yinghe's. Now it was equivalent to him and Chasing Bull attacking Fu Yinghe. How could Fu Yinghe bear it? Several spiritual consciousness blades slashed into Fu Yinghe's sea of consciousness, causing cracks to appear on Fu Yinghe's sea of consciousness. Fu Yinghe's soul almost flew out of his body. The wind blades had already hit his fist, and at this moment, his sea of consciousness had already suffered severe injuries. Therefore, his fist had lost even half of its power. As for bringing out a weapon, he had no chance at all. Even if there was a chance, Fu Yinghe knew that he wasn't the opponent of this person in front of him. He knew that he had gone blind. This young cultivator of unknown origin was an absolute powerhouse. Others might not know about Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness blades, but he naturally knew about them. Before Fu Yinghe could speak, Chasing Bull's hoof descended. Catcha! Chasing Bull's hoof directly kicked Fu Yinghe's chest, breaking Fu Yinghe's sternum, and causing him to spurt out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Chasing Bull didn't let it go, and took the opportunity to stomp down again. Ning Cheng knew that if he didn't take action, Chasing Bull wouldn't be able to kill Fu Yinghe even if Fu Yinghe suffered severe injuries. He raised his hand and threw out a fireball. At the same time, he also took away Fu Yinghe's ring. In just a dozen breaths, Fu Yinghe turned into nothingness. Ning Cheng had used the Fire Origin Crystal to upgrade the Scarlet Crow Flame to Nirvana Grade 3. Moreover, Fu Yinghe had never undergone body forging. Therefore, he couldn't last long in front of Ning Cheng's Scarlet Crow Flame. Chasing Bull proudly stood at the place where Fu Yinghe fell and spoke up. A mere association master dares to fight against this old bull. This old bull can kill you with a sneeze. Whether Chasing Bull was just bragging or not, the surroundings turned completely silent. No one could see that Ning Cheng had made a move. Everyone looked at Chasing Bull with awe in their eyes. It turned out that this demonic pet was the most powerful one. What a powerful demonic bull. No wonder this young cultivator dared to pick the named River Chamber of Commerce so boldly. Most people thought that if they had such a powerful demonic pet, they would also dare to provoke the named River Chamber of Commerce. Let's go. In the crowd in the distance, the black-robed male cultivator called by Sun pulled up the brocade-robed man and rushed out of the crowd. Ning Cheng's gaze swept over the back of the black-robed male cultivator with a cold gaze. However, he didn't chase after him. Now was not the time to start. His main purpose right now was to find Rulin, Uncle Baisun. Only after entering the covered snow city's East City Gate did the brocade-robed man call out in horror. He didn't expect that arrogant bull to be so powerful. Killing the association master of the named River Chamber of Commerce was as simple as breathing. Slap. After the black-robed male cultivator put down the brocade-robed man, he raised his hand and slapped him. 5 bloody marks appeared on the brocade-robed man's face, and the brocade-robed man spat out a few teeth. Uncle Baisun. The brocade-robed man looked at the black-robed cultivator in disbelief. The black-robed cultivator's face, which originally had a bronze color, turned livid with anger. Ji Zhengsheng, you beast! How dare you provoke such a big enemy for my Ji clan? After Chasing Bull killed Fu Yinghe, Ji Baisun understood that his Ji clan had gained another powerful enemy. Although Ji clan didn't fear such an opponent, this opponent wasn't someone that Second Revenant Star's Celestial Lord Ji Yoji could deal with. In terms of cultivation, Ji Yoji wasn't as good as Fu Yinghe. If that bull could kill Fu Yinghe, then it could easily kill Ji Baisun or Ji Yoji. Perhaps only Ji clan's most powerful person, named Descendant Celestial River King, Ji Yangyao in the life and death realm, could kill that arrogant bull. Uncle Baisun, that person also knows about my Ji clan, so he didn't dare to speak much in the restaurant. We don't need to. Slap. The brocade-robed man called Ji Zhengsheng hadn't finished his words when Ji Baisun slapped him in the face again. Pig. Ji Baisun pointed to Ji Zhengsheng and shouted, "You really are a pig. Didn't you see that he was looking for someone? He didn't make a move on your broken restaurant before, because he found a clue about this place. The reason why he made a move on the named River Chamber of Commerce was because his clue ended here. If you don't believe me, just wait and see if that person returns to your broken restaurant. I'm sure that in the end, whether he finds it or not, he will return to Ji Clan's restaurant at the East City Bridgehead." Ji Zhengsheng felt stunned by these words and only spoke up after a long time. "Then what should we do? What should we do? Immediately report this matter to the Celestial Lord, and at the same time, inform Ji Clan's ancestor, named Descendant Celestial River King as soon as possible." Ji Baisun spoke with an ugly expression. After Ning Cheng killed Fu Yinghe, the surrounding cultivators didn't even make any noise. Some of the cultivators who didn't want to get involved carefully retreated. Since Ning Cheng could kill Fu Yinghe, it showed that this strange cultivator's words about named River Chamber of Commerce no longer existing in named Descendant Celestial River were not nonsense, but an ironclad fact. With Fu Yinghe dead, named Descendant Celestial River would disappear without a trace even if he did anything. Ningqing cupped his fists towards the surrounding cultivators and said, "Friends, there were 3 cultivators who opened a winery here. But because of named River Chamber of Commerce's strength, these 3 people were driven away. If anyone knows the whereabouts of these 3 people, I will reward you with a middle-grade flight-type Dao artifact." While speaking, Ningqing waved his hand and threw out a middle-grade airship Dao artifact. At the same time, he asked Lu Yu to draw an image of Hellion Dai in the void. Chapter 7:15. For Wealthy Heavens Mandate cultivators, and even Celestial Bridge cultivators, although middle-grade flight-type Dao artifacts were precious, they were not to the point of going crazy over them. However, in this place, almost all rogue cultivators were not rich, and most of them were cultivators below the Celestial Bridge realm. When Ningqing took out a middle-grade flight-type Dao artifact, it immediately attracted the attention of many cultivators. At this moment, everyone started asking each other about the whereabouts of the original 3 people in this place. At this time, not to mention that most people did not know about it. Even if they knew, they would not tell others. Ningqing's gaze swept through the crowd, and after half an incense stick worth of time, an old man with white hair and a white beard, with cultivation in the undead realm, stood up. He walked up to Ningqing and bowed before speaking. "Senior, although I heard some of the words of those 3 people, I'm not sure." "Whether you're sure or not, speak first," Ningqing said immediately. "Yes." The old man did not dare to hesitate. "I was also nearby at that time." The 2 female cultivators were supporting a male cultivator with a sickly face. One of the female cultivators said that they should go to the ancient Shadow Temple. However, the male cultivator said that he definitely could not go to the temple in his current state. He also said that the cultivation of the 2 female cultivators was too low, and that they couldn't go alone. As for whether they went in or not, I'm not sure, because I didn't follow behind them. "When did this happen?" Ningqing asked in a deep voice. The old man quickly replied, "Nearly 3 months ago. It happened after their shop was occupied." Ningqing's gaze swept through the crowd again. Who else knows the exact news? No one in the crowd stood up to speak. In fact, among the cultivators here, who had the time to care about others? As for deceiving this powerhouse with a terrifying demonic pet, no one dared to even think about it. Seeing that no one knew anything about Ning Ruolin, Ningqing put the middle-grade Dao artifact into the hands of the old man. "This airship is yours." The old man took the airship in surprise and immediately spoke up. "I'm selling this flight-type weapon, the highest bidder wins." For him, the most important thing right now was not the flight-type weapon, but the celestial coins. Only with enough celestial coins could he buy medicinal pills. Moreover, this flight-type weapon still burned his hand. Ningqing did not care about it. He directly arranged an array formation over the ruins. Then a huge sign was erected in front of the array formation, Chung Ruolin Materials. This sign was bigger than all the signs in the surrounding shops, but no one dared to say that this sign affected their business. Even the other 4 major chambers of commerce in named Descendant Celestial River did not dare to say that they were blocking the way at this time. Ningqing believed that as long as Ruolin came here, she would definitely see this sign. One look at this sign and they knew that he had come. In this place, only he and Ruolin knew about Chung Ruolin's materials. "I'm going to the ancient Shadow Temple now. You can come with me." Ningqing looked back at Lu Yu and Dongli, who had been following behind him. Lu Yu was a very meticulous person. She knew that if she followed Ningqing and received Ningqing's protection, it would not be an opportunity for her and Dongli. If he wanted a lucky chance, he would have to leave a deeper impression in front of this senior Ning. Thinking of this, Lu Yu bowed and said, "Senior, Dongli and I will stay here and wait for you. If Dongli and I enter the sacred palace with low cultivation bases, we will only disturb you." Ningqing was just about to say, "Aren't you afraid of Ji Clan's revenge?" But when the words came to his mouth, he understood Lu Yu's meaning. Lu Yu wanted to stay here in case Ruolin and the others saw the sign and came back. It would be dangerous for her to stay here, but it would be equally dangerous for Ruolin to come back. She wanted to express her feelings to him. For Rulin, she wasn't afraid of danger. All right, you can stay here. I'll leave a cave for you. When Rulin comes back, crush the jade talisman immediately. If there's any danger, crush the jade talisman immediately. Ningqing took out a jade talisman and handed it to Lu Yu. At the same time, he brought out a cave within the original array formation. You take care of this place. Master won't treat you badly. Chasing Bull also put on an act. You stay here too. Ningqing glanced at Chasing Bull. He guessed that Ji Clan wouldn't take the initiative to attack. Besides, even if Ji Clan wanted to take action, Lu Yu could crush the jade talisman, and he would have enough time to come back. In case Rulin came back, Chasing Bull would take care of her. At least in terms of speed, Chasing Bull had the advantage. Chasing Bull didn't dare to refute Ningqing's words. Fortunately, there were many people here, so it didn't mind staying here. In fact, it even felt quite satisfied. When Ningqing arrived at the entrance to the ancient Shadow Temple, a large blockade greeted him. 4 late-stage Fate State cultivators were standing in front of the only entrance to the barrier, clearly guarding it. What's going on? Ningqing looked at the entrance in doubt and asked. The leading Heaven's Mandate cultivator respectfully cupped his fists towards Ningqing and said, Friend, all cultivators who enter the ancient Shadow Temple must pay 10,000 purple coins. This is the rule set by the Celestial Lord. The 4 of them stood guard at the entrance of the ancient Shadow Temple, and naturally knew about what happened not long ago. Ningqing's companion beast had killed named River Chamber of Commerce's Association head Fuinghe. The 4 of them combined couldn't even withstand a single hoof of that companion beast. So how could they dare to be rude to Ningqing? At this time, many cultivators followed Ningqing to see if Ningqing would pay the fee before entering the entrance. More people hoped that Ningqing wouldn't pay the fee and open the entrance. That way, everyone could follow behind him and make a fortune. 10,000 purple coins might not mean much to Ningqing, but for ordinary cultivators, even after countless years, they might not be able to save up 10,000 purple coins. Even if these cultivators wanted to enter the ancient Shadow Temple, they might not be able to do so. Ningqing guessed that the purpose of setting up the entrance fee was to reduce the number of cultivators entering, and at the same time, to increase some extra wealth. Some of the cultivators who obtained good things and wanted to come out of this place would most likely suffer another layer of exploitation. Thinking about the cultivators who came from afar, how could they not go in when they arrived at the entrance? Even if the entrance fee was a bit more expensive, those cultivators who came from afar would still find a way to take it out. However, Ningqing started to worry. If this entrance fee was set up a long time ago, then Rulin would definitely not go in. The 3 of them had 30,000 purple coins, and relying on a small restaurant wouldn't be enough to earn so many celestial coins. When was this entrance fee set up? Ningqing asked as he thought about it. The cultivator who spoke to Ningqing replied with even more respect. More than 2 months ago, under the orders of the Celestial Lord. This fellow had mentioned the Celestial Lord several times to let Ningqing vaguely understand that it was the second Revenant Star's Celestial Lord. You can't treat this place as the named River Chamber of Commerce. The Celestial Lord you spoke of is the second Revenant Star's Celestial Lord, Ji Yoji? Ningqing's tone turned cold. Sooner or later he would come knocking on Ji Clan's door. But now that Ji Clan had forced Rulin to go to some unknown place, the anger in his heart had already started to burn. That's right. The Heaven's Mandate cultivator gave out a sigh and finally brought up the Celestial Lord's name in a euphemistic manner. But then he felt something wrong. What was wrong? That's right. The cultivator in front of him directly addressed the Celestial Lord's name without even a shred of respect. Just as he figured out the problem, Ningqing gave a cold snort and spoke up. You don't need to worry about this place anymore. From now on, there will be no entrance fee, and anyone can freely enter and exit this place. Since it's an ownerless mystic realm, it belongs to everyone. The other Heaven's Mandate cultivator suddenly felt anxious and spoke up. How can it be ownerless? Since this mystic realm appeared on the second Revenant Star, then it naturally belongs to Sir Celestial Lord. Ningqing chuckled. Since it appeared on the second Revenant Star, Then it belongs to Sir Celestial Lord. This Sir Celestial Lord sure is awe-inspiring. Now that I'm the closest to the entrance to this mystic realm, I declare this ancient shadow temple to be mine. You. The Heavens Mandate cultivator felt so angry at Ningcheng that he didn't know what to say for a while. However, Ningcheng didn't wait for him to speak at all. He raised his hand and slapped the 4 cultivators, sending them flying. The next moment, Ningcheng brought out the Nirvana spear. From this, one could see how overbearing Ji clan was. They even set up a fee to enter the mystic realm. The Nirvana spear brought out a series of spear shadows. Kacha. Ningcheng destroyed all the restrictions set up at the entrance with ease. In just a few breaths, the entrance to the ancient shadow temple no longer faced any obstacles. Anyone could enter the ancient shadow temple from here, without having to pay a single celestial coin. The crowd of onlookers immediately stirred up and cheered. At the same time, no one wanted to fall behind and rush towards the ancient shadow temple. Ningcheng stood at the entrance and spoke up. Everyone, if you see her, please help her. After coming out in the future, I will definitely reward you handsomely. Ningcheng casually drew out Ning Ruolin's image. He didn't dare to say that Ruolin was his younger sister. If it was just an ordinary friend, others might help out because of some benefits. But if it was a relative, who knew if someone would try to harm Ruolin because of favoritism towards Ji clan? Many thanks, Senior. We will remember. The cultivators who went in all promised. This promise didn't require much effort. If they saw someone, they could help out and form a good relationship with such a powerful senior. Every cultivator who rushed into the temple cupped their fists towards Ningcheng to express their gratitude. Ningcheng also didn't hesitate and rushed into the temple. Ningcheng wasn't familiar with the ancient shadow temple, but the name sounded strange. He felt afraid that Ruolin would enter the ancient shadow temple. With Ruolin's cultivation, it would definitely be dangerous. The road into the ancient shadow temple was paved with bluestone, and every step made a creaking sound. Even Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate the surrounding scenery. Ningcheng had only walked a dozen meters when he felt an emptiness around him. He immediately understood that this was a teleportation array. The ancient shadow temple wasn't just outside the east gate of covered snow city, but it wasn't the ancient shadow temple. Ningcheng landed on the ground and found that the surroundings didn't look like a real hall. However, his spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate up, down, left, or right. He didn't immediately go in to check the situation. Instead, he looked back to see how to get out. Chapter 7:16. Behind him was a bluestone paved road, the same as when he came in. Ningcheng breathed in a sigh of relief. He confirmed that this was indeed a transmission channel. When he came back, as long as he stepped on the bluestone, he would be able to teleport out. Only now did Ningcheng feel in the mood to observe his surroundings. The surroundings were empty. It was as if there was nothing in the square instead of a hall. However, Ningcheng quickly determined that this was indeed a hall, without the slightest starry sky aura around it. This hall seemed to have no end, and he couldn't even tell the height of the roof. At this time, cultivators kept coming in, and these cultivators weren't too far away from Ningcheng. The cultivators who came in quickly dispersed and rushed into the depths of the hall. Ningcheng avoided these cultivators coming in, and arranged a concealed transfer array not far from the exit, before finally entering the depths of the spacious hall. After moving forward for a few dozen miles, Ningcheng once again saw restrictions and array formations in front of him. However, the restrictions and array formations had already fallen apart, and some of the scenes inside the restrictions appeared in Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness. There were many bluestone passageways, pillars with no visible top, and a dried-up starry sky spirit spring. Everything showed that this place was indeed a hall, and his current location was just the periphery of the hall, or rather, the public square at the entrance of the hall. Ningcheng didn't even need to break open the restrictions himself. He just randomly chose a gap in the restrictions and entered the hall. Although many cultivators came in, they scattered in this place and couldn't be seen at all. After entering this place, Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness forcibly penetrated it, and this time, he could see things more clearly. There were all kinds of forks in the surroundings, and between these forks, there were some small halls. These halls came in all shapes and sizes, and each hall had its own restrictions. However, most of these defensive restrictions had already been broken, and there was nothing inside. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate any further. Ningcheng simply chose a fork in the road, and soon met a few other cultivators who also chose this fork in the road. Because Ningcheng's speed was too fast, in just a short time, he had left these cultivators behind. Along the way, Ningcheng saw more than once cultivators joining forces to attack the restrictions. Most of the restrictions fell apart, leaving behind a variety of things. These things included various weapons, cultivation methods, and even some starry sky spiritual grass gardens. However, there were also some restrictions that were blasted open and there was nothing inside, which meant that they had wasted their efforts. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the things inside the restrictions, but few of them caught his eye. If this was all the ancient Shadow Temple had, then Ningcheng felt that it was unworthy of its name. However, he didn't come here for the ancient Shadow Temple, but to find Rulin. As such, he didn't care about the quality of the things here. His only worry was that he did not know which path Rulin would take if she came in. In the depths of another passage within the ancient Shadow Temple, a large group of people gathered around a swamp. To be precise, this large group of people was surrounding a certain area in the middle of the swamp, and they were still attacking. Even Ningcheng didn't expect that the ancient Shadow Temple would have a swamp. In fact, there was indeed a large swamp here. Moreover, the swamp here was different from other places. It was as if someone had specially planned it. There were some paths in the middle of the swamp, which intersected with each other, dividing the swamp into small compartments. This large group of people surrounded one of the compartments in the swamp, which was sealed with restrictions. Even the restrictions couldn't lock down the strong starry sky essence chi that leaked out of it. That's right, this small area was a small perpetual moon pill pond. Although the perpetual moon pills next to the pill pond had been dyed black by the swamp sludge, the perpetual moon pills in the middle still looked crystal clear, indicating that they were high-quality perpetual moon pills. This perpetual moon pill pond contained at least tens of thousands of perpetual moon pills. This small perpetual moon pill pond was sealed with restrictions, and the cultivators surrounding it were all attacking it. From this, one could imagine that once this perpetual moon pill pond broke, the surrounding cultivators would immediately rush in. Little Dai, you attack a place with me. That way, the effects will be better. A yellow-robed female cultivator said to the green-robed female cultivator next to her. And I know, elder sister Rulin. The green-robed female cultivator had just replied when she heard another sound transmission. Little Dai, don't attack with all your strength. This restriction is about to break. When everyone rushes in, we have to save some strength to grab the perpetual moon pills. Remember not to be greedy, grab some and then leave. Moreover, we don't need to grab the crystal clear perpetual moon pills in the middle. We just need to grab some at the edge. This time the green-robed female cultivator did not speak. She understood elder sister Rulin's meaning. These two female cultivators were Ning Rulin and Helian Dai, who had entered the ancient Shadow Temple. Because Helian Mingzhi was seriously injured, he could only hide in a secluded place. Helian Dai and Ning Rulin had risked their lives to come to the ancient Shadow Temple to obtain some cultivation resources. It's just that their cultivations were too low, and no one wanted to team up with them. As such, the two of them could only follow behind others and pick up things that others did not want. Sure enough, Ning Rulin's words did not last long before the small restriction over the swamp shattered with a catcha sound. Even richer starry sky essence chi rushed up, and the surrounding cultivators almost immediately swarmed in. Ning Rulin and Helian Dai also rushed in. They had a relatively good mentality, and did not try to snatch the pure white perpetual moon pills in the middle, which contained rich starry sky essence chi, and did not contain any impurities. The two of them just grabbed a handful at the edge before rushing out in an instant. In fact, compared to the speed of the two of them, the others were much faster. Fortunately, Ning Rulin's idea was correct. If they had tried to snatch the pure and rich perpetual moon pills in the middle, they might have ended up with nothing. Even if the two of them grabbed some of the black perpetual moon pills polluted by the swamp, they would only have one chance. As the two of them retreated to the back, the perpetual moon pills in this small swamp had already been snatched away. Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai had accurately positioned themselves and managed to grab some. Some of the cultivators with higher cultivation than Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai wanted to snatch the pure white perpetual moon pills in the middle, which contained rich starry sky essence chi. However, they ended up with nothing. As for the high-quality perpetual moon pills in the middle, more than a dozen experts in Heaven's Mandate realm had already divided them up. Little Dai, let's go. Ning Ruolin knew that even if she and Helian Dai managed to grab some of the black perpetual moon pills, someone would definitely notice them. And elder sister Ruolin, I just grabbed 60 perpetual moon pills. Helian Dai happily sent a sound transmission to Ning Ruolin. She couldn't help feeling excited. Ning Ruolin also felt excited in her heart, and also sent a sound transmission. I also grabbed 83, let's go. Wait. Two cultivators with celestial shatterer cultivation stopped Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai. One of them was a late-stage celestial shatterer male cultivator, while the other was a middle-stage celestial shatterer female cultivator. Previously, the two of them wanted to snatch the white perpetual moon pills in the middle. Unfortunately, they did not have enough strength and ended up with nothing. Ning Ruolin looked at the two of them with vigilance. What's the matter? Why did you push me when we were trying to snatch the perpetual moon pills? The male cultivator asked with a black face and an unhappy tone. Ning Ruolin knew that the other party wanted to find fault with them and could only speak up. I did not bump into you just now. My companion and I entered the pill pond in a completely different direction from you. It was impossible for us to bump into each other. The people around immediately understood that these two cultivators, a man and a woman, had not managed to obtain the perpetual moon pills and wanted to blackmail them. No one would believe that two celestial novice cultivators would dare to push a celestial shatterer cultivator to snatch the perpetual moon pills. Moreover, they did not dare to make a move against those with high cultivation. As such, they could only look for the two celestial novice cultivators with the lowest cultivation. Although they understood the situation, no one would come forward to help if there were no benefits involved. In this place, it was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. As such warm-hearted cultivators were few and far between. What do you want? Helian Dai naturally understood what was going on. The female cultivator frowned and glanced at Helian Dai and Ning Ruolin before speaking. The two of us could have grabbed at least 200 or 300 perpetual moon pills, but because of your push, we did not manage to grab a single perpetual moon pill. We did not manage to grab even a single perpetual moon pill. How about this? You compensate us with 200 perpetual moon pills. I don't care about the quality of your perpetual moon pills, as long as they are perpetual moon pills. Helian Dai's expression suddenly turned ugly. Big sister and I only have a few dozen perpetual moon pills, yet you want us to compensate you with 200 pills. Why don't you just rob us? At this moment, more cultivators came over. Apparently, they had seen many people here, and wanted to know if there were any good things here. Really? So, you should have pushed us a little. Brother Xiao Kuei, I won't speak. Please help us. The celestial shatterer cultivator did not continue to pressure Ning Ruolin. Instead, he cupped his fists towards a late-stage Heaven's Mandate cultivator next to him. The Heaven's Mandate cultivator named Xiao Kuei showed a faint smile. What else is there to say? Naturally, it's compensation. If you block my path to riches, then it would not be as simple as compensating for the pills. With that, the Heaven's Mandate cultivator's murderous aura surged out, causing Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai to unconsciously take a few steps back. The cultivators next to them understood why the celestial shatterer cultivator wanted to find someone to take charge. That is, to tell others that he knew a Heaven's Mandate cultivator, and that the people around him should not meddle in this. Especially the few cultivators who had just arrived, not to interfere. I'll compensate you. I only have 30 perpetual moon pills in total. Helian Dai endured the bitterness in her heart and stretched out her hand. In her palm were more than 30 black perpetual moon pills. After experiencing being driven away several times, she already knew what to choose. But even so, she still hid more than 30 perpetual moon pills. Chapter 717. Haha, if it blocks your road to riches, then how do you plan to deal with it? This Father Gong Xiuzhu doesn't believe it. If you have any means, then let's see if this Gong Xiuzhu can take it. A fierce-looking male cultivator stood up and ridiculed this Heaven's Mandate cultivator named Xiaokue with disdain. After that, he brought out his weapon, apparently ready to fight at any time. This cultivator named Xiaokue felt surprised. He did not expect that someone would stand up for two celestial novice cultivators. He had just spoken up for the male and female cultivators he knew. It was because he knew the celestial shatterer male cultivator's elder brother, who was also a late-stage Heaven's Mandate cultivator. If he had to fight against other Heaven's Mandate cultivators for the two of them, he would not be willing to do so. This senior, the two of them deliberately blocked my way to snatch the perpetual moon pills. Therefore, elder brother Xiaokue spoke up for me. The celestial shatterer male cultivator saw that something was wrong and quickly came out to explain. He also did not expect that a Heaven's Mandate cultivator would stand up for Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai. Really? Since I blocked your road to riches today, what can you do to me? Gong Xiuzhu spoke up with even more disdain. The few cultivators who came a moment ago all had Heaven's Mandate cultivation. They also felt a little strange. Why did this Gong Xiuzhu, who usually did not care about anything, suddenly become so righteous at this time? Did he take a fancy to these two beautiful female cultivators? However, when they saw the two female cultivators, especially Ning Ruolin's appearance, they immediately understood. Everyone, if anyone sees her, please lend a hand. After coming out in the future, I will definitely reward you handsomely. These were the words spoken by the senior before they entered the temple. Wasn't this female cultivator in a yellow robe the one that the senior wanted them to help? Humph, this one is not a person who is afraid of trouble. This Heaven's Mandate cultivator named Xiaokue did not intend to stand up for them. It was just that Gong Xiuzhu was too aggressive. Hehe, the one blocking your road to riches is not friend Gong Xiuzhu. I, Ban Kong, am not convinced and will also block your road to riches. Today, if you dare to touch even a hair on these two junior apprentice sisters, I, Ban Kong, will kill you. If you don't believe me, you can try. Another Heaven's Mandate cultivator stood up. And me Huayushan. I, Bei Jinyi. In the blink of an eye, the four Heaven's Mandate cultivators who had just arrived all stood up to support Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai. Not to mention Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai who couldn't understand what was going on. Even the rest of the cultivators couldn't understand what was going on. It had only been 2 or 3 months since they entered the ancient Shadow Temple. How did helping others suddenly become so popular? Why are the Heaven's Mandate realm cultivators standing up for these two female cultivators? Ning Ruolin quickly stepped forward and cupped her fists in a respectful manner before speaking. Many thanks to the several seniors for making the decision. In fact, these two people just wanted to extort our things. She didn't know what was going on, but she knew that a Fate State senior had stepped forward to help, and she had to thank him. Is that so? Bei Jinyi felt that he was the last to stand up. This time he definitely couldn't fall behind. He was the first to rush to the male cultivator, who blackmailed Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai and slap him. This male cultivator didn't expect that the other party would make a move just like that. Even if he thought of it, he couldn't resist it. The difference between a celestial shatterer cultivator and a Heaven's Mandate cultivator was just too big. Slap. With just a slap, the celestial shatterer male cultivator flew dozens of meters away from Bei Jinyi. He spat out a mouthful of blood in the air before falling directly into the swamp. Bei Jinyi didn't intend to kill him. Otherwise, this slap would have been more than enough to kill the celestial shatterer male cultivator. One Xiaokue's expressions turned ugly. With a snort, he turned around and left. Staying here would only bring shame to himself. He couldn't beat the 4 people here by himself. With one Xiaokue gone, how could these 2 celestial shatterer male and female cultivators dare to speak even half a word of nonsense? As for blackmailing, they definitely wouldn't dare. The celestial shatterer male cultivator climbed up from the swamp and pulled the female cultivator to apologize before quickly retreating. With 4 Heaven's Mandate cultivators helping 2 celestial novice female cultivators, no one would dare to come out and take care of this matter, unless they were stupid. The rest of the cultivators quickly left. In just a short time, only the 4 newly arrived Heaven's Mandate cultivators along with Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai remained. Helian Dai also quickly came up to thank them. If not for these 4 Heaven's Mandate cultivators, they wouldn't have even a single perpetual moon pill left. However, she still felt a little uneasy. She didn't know any of these 4 people, so why would they help them? You're welcome. This is what we should do. Gong Xiuzhu, the leader, naturally felt happy to help Ning Ruolin. He waved his hand and spoke. Should do? Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai felt even more puzzled. At this moment, a violent explosion erupted in the distance. Extremely rich starry sky essence chi soared into the sky. Even Gong Xiuzhu and the others, who stood far away, could clearly feel it. Something good came out. Ban Kang's eyes lit up. He then turned to the others and said, "Let's go and have a look." Even without Ban Kang's words, the other 3 Heaven's Mandate cultivators also wanted to go and have a look. Gong Xiuzhu eagerly glanced at Ning Ruolin. Since they saved Ning Ruolin, they naturally couldn't ask for benefits in person. However, Huai Yushan spoke up. 2 junior apprentice sisters, there must be something good coming out of that place. Why don't you come with us? Ning Ruolin had been saved by these 4 people and felt a little nervous. Now that these 4 people wanted them to come with them, Ning Ruolin naturally didn't want to. Besides, with their cultivation, even if they went, they wouldn't get any benefits. Thinking of this, Ning Ruolin bowed again with cupped fists and said, "Our cultivation is low, and we're about to go out. We won't go with you." "Okay, we'll go first. We will definitely visit your store in the future." Gong Xiuzhu quickly spoke up. Cheng Ruolin's materials store was located outside the ancient Shadow Temple. Once they went out in the future, they would definitely meet the senior who had asked them for help. Therefore, even if Ning Ruolin didn't come with them, they would still get some benefits in the future. Seeing the 4 Heaven's Mandate cultivators really leave, Ning Ruolin and Helian Dai felt a little uncomfortable. Helian Dai asked in doubt, "Big Sister Ruolin, why are they so kind? Did they come to our restaurant to drink before they knew us? But our restaurant doesn't have any? Besides, our restaurant rarely has any seniors in Heaven's Mandate realm." Ning Ruolin also frowned and couldn't understand what was going on. Only after a while did she speak up. "No matter what, let's get out of here and stay away from this place." "Okay." Helian Dai quickly responded and quickly retreated with Ning Ruolin. "Brother Zhu, why didn't you just say that the senior entrusted us with help?" Ban Kong asked after the 4 people left Ning Ruolin's side. "You're really stupid. Everyone knows that we saved those 2 female cultivators. Once those 2 female cultivators go out and talk about it, it would become even clearer. If we deliberately pointed out that we received a request from that senior, it would weaken our friendship. Now that we pretend that we don't know anything, with that senior's generosity, do you think he would be able to give us anything less?" Gong Xiuzhu spoke with disdain. "Yes, Brother Zhu is right. If we deliberately pointed it out, others would think that we're trying to force them to repay us. Now that we pretend that we don't know anything, that senior might give us even more." Huai Yushan immediately praised. Bei Junyi, who followed behind, also spoke up. "Then after we go to that place in front, we'll immediately go out." The other 3 people looked at Bei Junyi speechlessly. It was obvious. If not for the starry sky essence chi in front of them being too rich, they would have already thought of sending Ning Ruolin and Ning Ruolin out. Ning Cheng had already stopped. In front of him was a primal chaos mist. His spiritual consciousness could only penetrate a few dozen feet in front of him. The mist was filled with a violent aura. It felt as if anyone who entered this mist would be torn to pieces by the violent aura. He didn't expect to appear in this place after passing through the blue stone road filled with restrictions. Although Ning Cheng felt sure that Ning Ruolin wouldn't enter this place, he couldn't help but feel curious and entered the mist filled with violent aura. Terrifying tearing and blade lights penetrated through Ning Cheng's skin. Even with Ning Cheng's starry sky body, he could still feel bursts of pain. From this, one could tell that this mist was not only highly toxic, but also contained powerful attacks. If an ordinary cultivator came in, the mist would most likely tear them apart immediately. Just as Ning Cheng was about 100 feet away, a huge gate blocked his way. Above the gate were 4 words, Ancient Shadow Temple. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. So this was the real entrance to the Ancient Shadow Temple. The place in front of him didn't look like it at all. This Ancient Shadow Temple truly looked like a shadow. Ning Cheng tried to use his spiritual consciousness to penetrate the gate, but his spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate it at all. He could even hear the whimpers of night owls. These whimpers seeped out of the gate and felt extremely horrifying. This gate was surrounded by a grade 9 starry sky array formation, or even a starry sky array formation that surpassed grade 9. Ning Cheng understood that with his current ability, it wouldn't be easy to open the gate to the Ancient Shadow Temple. Moreover, Ning Cheng could tell from the surrounding array formations that someone had come here not long ago and attacked the gate. However, it didn't open. From the looks of it, the person who came here must have gone out to find help, Ning Cheng thought to himself. Indeed, with the defensive array formations and restrictions around the Ancient Shadow Temple, ordinary cultivators wouldn't be able to open it. Ning Cheng didn't try to continue attacking the gate. With his cultivation and proficiency in array formations, if he wanted to go in, it would open after a long time. For Ning Cheng, the most important thing right now wasn't to enter the Ancient Shadow Temple. Ning Cheng retreated. He knew that with his own strength, it would be extremely difficult to find a person in the Ancient Shadow Temple, where one's spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate. Instead, he might as well retreat to the entrance and wait. He would then inform the cultivators who entered the Ancient Shadow Temple that no matter who met Ning Rulin, they should let her out. This way, it would be much more efficient than searching for her by himself. Fortunately, he had already set up a teleportation array at the entrance. As such, he didn't need to retreat at all. As long as he brought out the teleportation array flags, he could return to the original entrance. After throwing out a few teleportation array flags, Ning Cheng found himself wrapped in several teleportation array lights. In just a few breaths, he returned to the entrance again. Ning Cheng hadn't even walked out of the teleportation array when he saw 2 female cultivators rushing towards the exit. One of them looked very familiar. Rulin. Ning Cheng held back the excitement in his heart and called out loudly. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.